And like that, we back with another Unpacked presented by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
all right, so we have another good one. This should be a fun one. We're taking a break from our normal Pan-African versus FBA antics, and we're going and I guess Trump and Kamala antics, and we're gonna dive into a little bit more of just the social sphere today. And we're gonna talk about woke. We'll kind of go down the line of if we think woke has been co-opted. We'll define woke. Has the definition changed? Is woke black? Does it have roots in black culture? But before then, love for our amazing panel to introduce themselves. G, talk to them.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast. Make sure you check that out. We focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else at GSHPOD. Check that out wherever you get your podcast. Ha.
Trey, talk to him.
What's good? Here again, appreciate a chance to be on this panel, talk about social political commentary with a perspective that's a little bit unconventional. And I know we're going to agree and disagree, but looking for some more positive conversation.
Facts. Charlotte Legend, talk to him.
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. Excited for the conversation. And yeah, let's get it.
Johnny, the birthday boy, is that what they saying? I thought he'd be on here, shades on, Tylenols and Advils right now. We're outside chasing a bunny, but he's here with us. Johnny, talk to him.
43 years old.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I've been, I took the day off, so I had time to, get it in and get it out before I got here. So appreciate being here.
There's so many contexts. Is that an entendre?
Well, I appreciate y'all being here, man. Appreciate all the love. Just looking forward to it.
Okay, gotcha. So again, as y'all know, we love to start the show with I guess a bit of like an icebreaker, and no better icebreaker than in current news. I guess it'd be fitting to share this and kind of talk through it. In current pop culture news, Diddy, often maybe not affectionately called the Diddler inside now in current times, has been arrested by the feds. He has been held, no bond. Yeah, I think they denied his bond twice, according to the Shade Room. Another black man, another powerful black man in jail. Is this a conspiracy? Is this something that is pretty much the chickens coming home to roost? Thousands of bottles of lubricants. What's your thoughts, fellas?
Did he do it fluid? 1,000 bottles of Did he do it fluid?
Money.
Man, like you said, Q, another powerful black man in jail, man. You hate to see it. The list goes on. We gotta move more carefully out there. Like, first off, y'all gotta say what he did to Cassie was wrong.
Okay.
Thank you.
We need to get out there, and anyone that's victims or anything like that, of course, nobody thinks that anyone should be able to get away with that. Is that a RICO?
It's a freako.
Like a lot of the stuff that they talked about with coercing adults,
I think they got him for racketeering, not the RICO, right?
That's what racketeering.
I think it's a lot of it kind of like bubbles in together.
That's the R in RICO is racketeering. A criminal organization. So they're talking about all the money that he made from that since 2009. They're trying to take that.
So I guess what I gathered was that they got the guns with the scratched off, like, I guess, what is it, the ARs with the scratched off serial numbers. They have him for racketeering, sex trafficking. They got the videos of the freak offs in which I guess they were saying that he was using that as leverage over people to get them to do things for him, and the 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant.
Man, I I think the sex trafficking is really the main kind of pillar for everything. Because the alleged sex trafficking is what makes this like an organized crime thing over everything else. And I feel like the other stuff is more like icing on the cake. If you are really allegedly shipping from, but like on the payroll, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's kind of crazy because it's like we assume rich people have girls on payroll, right?
No.
It's like we assume that like that's a thing, escorts, all that type of stuff. But they got him basically saying like he's like they must got his cash apps or something. I don't know. They got saying he paying for services, shipping them across state and international lines. And once you start doing stuff like that, it's tough. Like, and you know the Fed, they got what's their conviction rate? It's like
95%.
Crazy.
But shipping is much different than like just tripping or like sending flying chicks versus stuffing them in the 18-wheeler. And, you know,
exactly.
Like these people know what they were doing. This nigga's party has been legendary all their life. Like all of a sudden, all of this shit is dastardly. The nigga got guns, he got X. Everybody was so scared of him. Like he's a.
But that is kind of like the history of what the story of Diddy is, though. He is the guy that I guess he punches every hot rapper, hangs Wale over the over the balcony,
blew up Cuddy's car, like. Yo, these are wild.
He do have some legendary stories out there.
Yeah, that's a wild one. The car is wild.
He rapping about the shit. He gotta let him know.
Allegedly.
I guess what is it that he killed somebody and they sent the cleanup. Well, I guess they also said that he has a whole staff that cleans up before and after the what is it called? The freak offs. But I guess he also has like the murder cleanup crew. I don't know. They said
nobody said he murdered or killed anybody, bro. Let's not do that.
Well, my bad. I guess what did he? I don't know if he murdered or he shot the person in the studio.
Arson is a definite charge.
And then they said that he cleaned it up and he paid it was some whole shit inside LA. That was a part of like a charge.
No, part of this, what he's being charged with now is there's a murder in there because I haven't. This is the first
I don't
about a murder.
Again, I can retract that word murder as much as shot. I know that it said that he shot somebody in the studio and they covered it up and they cleaned it up and like that whole thing. I wouldn't go as far as murder. That's my bad.
And they got him on kidnapping too. So it's like, I feel what you're saying, Black, in terms of like people knowing that they there, but these folks were allegedly kidnapped, meaning against their will or held somewhere against their will and couldn't leave. Thing. Yeah, technically kidnapping is you can't leave.
So my thing is, are they finding out all of this shit at one time, or they been collecting shit? And if they have been collecting stuff and he's doing serious stuff like that, why didn't they act on it then? Like all of a sudden, this nigga's a super villain. You know, he got free calls. You can't leave. He'll kill you. He got X. Like he got guns with the serial number. Like shit just went 0 to 100. And it's like, yeah, the nigga nasty. He did some shit, and we've been known that as a culture. We know them parties, like, but now it's on some like, oh, he is some super criminal organization. Like, no, he's paying known sex workers. They're flying from Miami to New York to Cali or wherever he is to contribute to the party of the freak offs, because you got to have the girls that's already down, that's already paid for, and then you got other people that's joining in. Now in this era of like shame and all of this shit, is like nobody was there. This nigga was by himself. So I don't know. It's like that it's no way he can go down without a lot more people being exposed.
Somebody else, yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Like Nicky
somebody
Barnes.
Else got to go down, yeah.
Who's at the freak offs?
Everybody at the freak off. Everybody's at the freak
so
off.
I guess this can lend to almost like a this wouldn't specifically be the segue into the topic, but the freak offs, right? Would this be almost confirmation of what they like to call, quote unquote, the Illuminati? And wouldn't it be interesting to see who would be in these eyes wide shut party or things in which they're leveraging? And it's almost not adjacent, but it mirrors the concept of Epstein and the idea of like getting people to do XYZ, recording them and holding it as leverage.
That's a good point.
orgies have been going on since like Greeks and Romans, and like people do like freak shit, like they swinger parties and like nasty shit. That's why I feel like the culture be hypocritical sometimes. I'm like, what they get prude about, because we'll boost rappers and the girl rappers will say the nastiest shit that they do, but then you hear like, oh, people are having sex together in a room, like they're all crazy. Like these people know what the fuck they was doing. Like everybody was getting paid, and now it's like, all right, now we can switch it and say we was forced, we was coerced, we was manipulated. But I think a lot of people are like just jumping in because it's like he easy to kick right now. Some people had a valid shit,
Exactly.
but we seen a nigga on the band. Like none of this shit is shocking. We know he's the aggressive dude. He get what he want. Yeah, that's the shit we love about Diddy. But the whole abusive stuff, now you can kind of flip that in this picture. We don't know what, but it's looking crazy with the FBI shit. So we'll see. I think they really just want to get this nigga money after suing that liquor company.
Right, exactly.
He was out here. He was talking about being black owned, all this kind of like pseudo black power shit. He was going back and forth, but he was starting to talk that talk. And then right after he sued that shit, all this shit just starts flooding out. But that's what's odd to me is like, bro, like it can be a hit and he can be a freak at the same time. Like, why we can't?
That's my thing. Like, what does like the Diddy do it food? That's funny, but like, what does that have to do with any like criminal organization or criminal like charges? It's like you're just doing that just to like almost embarrass and humiliate the man. It's
like baby oil ain't a crime. Neither is
yeah, like why do we?
I think that if I was to try to answer it, it would be, it is the culmination of like the entire operation all moving together, I imagine. And then when you also incorporate the idea of physical abuse and harm within it, and then you put on top of that the idea of just kind of the strong arm that he kind of operates within the music industry in general. That you have like the trail of artists and producers and interviews from kind of wherever you want to go, down to the guy, I guess the person that shot Tupac said that Diddy did the whole hitman. So it's kind of like this trail of Diddy operating above the law or with the law or with whoever you kind of like, might want to say. But I think that the freak offs is just like a piece of the pie to it.
Right.
That is kind of like the Jeffrey Epstein piece, where it's the thought of using these tapes, not necessarily the actual action of the freak off, but I guess the tapes as blackmail and leverage because of the people aren't knowing that they're getting recorded. That's my understanding of it.
And he would allegedly drug people.
Oh yeah, and it's the drugging part.
According to the what they filed, they're saying that not only did he host these events, he intentionally drugged people to make them more obedient and things of that nature, and would make girls sleep with male prostitutes to the point where he had these girls on IVs the next morning. He had IVs on deck because they was getting wore out so crazy. So it's like, bro, like.
But then I also guess they said that he would get violent if you didn't do what he said in the freak offs. I don't know. I imagine maybe the videos would let us know.
I mean, you saw what happened to Cassie in the hallway. So what's happening behind a closed door? Like that's kind of my thing. Is like this, like all of what we're saying is true, but it's like it's a shame that it has to be said given this guy's circumstances. Like this is not like the time to be like we're under attack. Like this nigga's a predator. Like no, like he's a predatory business person. He's a predatory in every single way. It's like he found ways to be successful, build all these different brands, and become one of the first like billionaires in hip hop, right? And so like that's that. But if you take that away, there's not much to be like that proud of if we're just looking at the character and what he's been representing, from both how he treats even his own artists to these other allegations that date all the way back to the Kim Porter days at that. So it's just like, yeah, it's just a shame that this is this is the platform where we have to, as black men, try to like make our case as to why we getting attacked.
No. Don't do no ass black man, bro. Like that don't have what Diddy did. Don't have nothing to do.
Guess what y'all talking about? No. So did I miss something?
Nah, because I just don't like when we talk about Diddy and then we talk about from a case as black men. We have to make. Man,
but did I miss? Hold up. Did I miss something? Was that case not being made? I just want to know because if I misheard, and I'm gonna apologize. But I could have sworn the case was being made that like this is also has to do with the fact that a black man. Did I miss that completely, or am I hearing something?
I wouldn't say you missed it, but I would say the way you characterize it is like nobody. We started off by saying nobody thinks that what Diddy did was. No one agrees with that. We all know that he's wrong, and I think like we should be able to like you shouldn't be shamed for being analytical about this. And we also should be able to look at the bigger picture. And then that's like the topic tonight, like being woke. And if you look at like the RICO charge, is Diddy Al Capone? No, was he didn't. We're not saying what he did was right, but to use the law to use for Al Capone to go after Diddy sees another black moguls, all of their resources between him, the Bill Cosby, Russell Simmons.
Russell living pretty good in Bali, from what I understand. I don't think he's lumped in here. I think Russell was out of here.
Not his assets though, like his image and his legacy. That what could have been. Like same with like Michael Jackson, Sam Cooke, Prince, Nipsey Hussle, Dolph, Tory Lanez. Like all these people were trying to go independent, and it seems like they all fall down. So we're not defending Diddy, but when we look at the RICO and we look at the Mann Act, which that was invented to go against Jack Johnson for bringing women across state lines. It was called the Anti-White Slave Act. So they dusted off an old anti-black law in a RICO case to bring it against Diddy. What about the RICO case about all these supremacists that are in law enforcement right now? Or what about, we don't even know the Epstein list and everything like that. Diddy didn't make the blueprint for any of this stuff right now. So if we want to point that out and stay aware of that, that doesn't mean that we're defending Diddy as black men. We just have to be focused on the bigger picture, because anything if they do things to Diddy and change laws and do things against him, then that can happen against anyone else once he had that precedent. So that's all I'm saying.
But you're saying because he's black though, right?
You make it sound like I'm justifying anything though. Nobody's justifying.
I'm not saying you're justifying. I'm just saying the what you're saying, the underlying piece to it is we need to be analytical because they're doing this to a black man. No,
because you make it sound like we're defending Diddy. We're not defending Diddy. We're defending black men. So like you're tying it too much to Diddy. Like we don't want the laws and this precedent to be set to where if you're flying somebody overseas, they can take your label. And then they can continue.
So it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like is that the hill we want? So you're saying if you are, I'm talking about doing what he's alleged of. I'm not talking about reducing what he did to like what we say. Like I'm just talking about the actual charges. If the feds don't do this unless they know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't like, God, what's his name? Irv somehow beat the case, right? Because they couldn't prove that Irv gave such and such money for illegal activity. So he was able to escape from that. Like he was able to separate Murder Inc. from what Supreme was doing. But in this particular case, right, if they present it where it's like button up, it's clearly organized. He paid for this, did this, facilitated this, did this, forced these people to go from one place to the other, coerce them, use his power to bribe them and blackmail and all these other things. If all of that is true, what are we talking about in terms of like they shouldn't like if these things are true, then it's true? No?
Of course it's true. And again, if Diddy did all those things that he's alleged to have done, which first off, let him have his day in court. I think it's unethical for them to release evidence that we don't even know if that will be admissible in court, just to sway public opinion. This isn't the first time they've gone out of their way to embarrass him, to where he gets the Negro treatment. And then if we want to can two things not be true at once? Diddy should be condemned. Diddy should be in jail. But if we just stop there and don't make sure everyone's held accountable, then that leaves us as black men as the target, and then that's an unjust system, especially when it's used against our richest. And the ownership is going to go away from Diddy to the hands of the dominant society. And that's the bigger picture from my perspective, not saying what Diddy did was right. Of course, what he did was wrong, allegedly.
Unjust system for sex trafficking is not what I'm trying to like.
Okay,
if you sex trafficking, you probably need to be treated a certain way. Like,
okay, bro. So 100 sex traffickers, 10 of them are black. All 10 go to jail. The other 90 go free, and we consistently go through that. Is that okay?
I'm not doing sex trafficking, brother. Like, I'm not. Like, I don't even think like that's the like. So you think that only black sex traffickers are getting in trouble?
For the most part, these people, like, look at Vince McMahon. Like, we know, look at all these corporations. You know they do mess like this. They hire women. Look at Wolf of Wall Street. That type of stuff goes down in Wall Street all the time. And then, bro, all the people on the Epstein list, none of this stuff is right. But for us to be the only people that consistently go down for this, even with Bill Cosby, how they had to change the law and to open up the statute of limitations just to prosecute him right when he was trying to do something big. And then even look at Michael Jackson. He wasn't proven guilty of anything but public opinion. Same with O.J. Simpson. And then black people, they don't stand up for any of this. So it just makes it easy for us to be consistently victimized. Although, again, I'm not condoning sex trafficking.
I just say, how do we like victimize it? I know we kind of about to go, but it's just like I just don't see this as victimizing somebody, given the the type of accusation. Like, I think it's pretty tough for me to get falsely accused of sex trafficking, bro. Like, for me to get charged with sex trafficking, like a federal charge.
That's true for all crimes, because what we always talk about, over policing. The reason that black people are consistently but I understand. Like, I think we need to be
sex trafficking, though.
Bro, I think if you don't see it, you don't want to see it. Because it's difficult to have a conversation. But I think we have to be not to be condescending, like mature enough to say that sex trafficking is 1,000% wrong. It's also wrong for us to be disproportionately targeted for what everyone else is doing. And if we don't address that thing, we're not victimized if we did it. But if the justice system holds us more accountable, gives us more time, puts us through the ringer and seeks it out in our community while turning a blind eye everywhere else, at the end of the day, that's a weapon against us, and we should be mindful of that. No?
I just don't know if that's I don't know what you say is
yes
true.
No, like should
what you say is true. What you say is true. Does it apply to the sex trafficking charges? Is, I think, a different question.
But I'm talking about the bigger picture, though.
I don't think we're disproportionately charged for sex trafficking. I need to see some data there, bro. I didn't know that black folks was going through the ringer for sex trafficking. I honestly did not know this. I didn't know that we're disproportionately going under more than like. I don't even think that's our bag like that, honestly, black folks. We ain't out here we got pimps, but even the pimps are smart enough to know to keep it in a certain jurisdiction. They're not shipping them from one thing to the next. Like, they know the laws. They stick to pimping. They not like trying to. I don't know. I don't see I don't see this as a disproportionate black thing as it relates to these particular charges, sex trafficking.
I'm talking about who gets away with it. Like Hugh Hefner, all the crazy stories that happened there, and then we're not digging at them. Again, I said Vince McMahon, about how they talk about what he's got going on, and then we talk about the whole corporations. Wolf on Wall Street saying that again. It's just like we don't, and even look at these massage parlors where we know the stuff that goes on over there, and they're actually trafficking people consistently, and that happens in all these major cities. So it's not like we disproportionately do any of these things. I'm saying they always turn a blind eye when everyone else does that, and we're just we're moral. It's incorrect for Diddy to do whatever he did, but at the end of the day, if you're okay with the focus being on you and everyone else turns a blind eye to them, if you're okay with that, then I guess that's the conversation. I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm overly analytical, but from the bigger picture, that's a problem, bro. And again, I never said what Diddy did was right. I know it was wrong, especially all the accusations, all that freak stuff. I don't feel sympathy for him, but anything that is used against him where he's treated unfairly, it can happen to like that precedent is what I'm concerned about.
So I'm sure y'all two can kind of go for a while in this. I love for Johnny, hop in for a quick second, and we'll wrap up with A Black kind of giving the last word on his fellow Howard alumnus.
Oh, I forgot that part.
He didn't graduate. Chill out.
Oh, he didn't. Okay, my bad.
Oh, we'll go say we got But I mean, I don't want to, like you say, if you do the crime, you got to do the time. But I do think what Trey is saying is correct as far as like we have to analyze this critical justice system to make sure it's actually justice. And in like you say, black people are always over policed. So this is just another way where we're over policing. And I think we're gonna have the conversation. We don't need to talk about like Diddy because like if he did it, he needs to go to jail because he's like on the other hand he's hurting the black community also. If a lot of these allegations and stuff are true, he's maybe not the best person for us to have on our team anyway. So he can go do it, but we need to look at these systems and make sure that justice is being applied fairly across the board. I agree with that, but fuck Diddy, I got no love for him. But
Seemed like yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track. Man, come on, free Diddy. Free Diddy. Let's be real. He is good at on that side, creating businesses, creating jobs out here. Like this nigga is not no super villain. Like people is freaks just like him. I be on Twitter. I know people is freaks. They like it. Everybody want to go to them parties. Like, and now it's like he doing ain't no sex trafficking. They're using this language and shit to defame him and make him more villainous. But he flying hoes out just like rich people do all the time. And now all of a sudden it's cross state lines and if you're on a fucking plane, you cross the state lines. But like they using all this language to kind of just make him seem more villainous. And like I don't fuck with that. Man. Like it's like they just don't want nobody. How many black men we can count on one hand that was as powerful as him? That's as rich as him in America, So to just act like this is all because of his bad character, he nasty, he means like, all right, yeah, but a lot of that we've known and we've loved. We love that predator shit, that aggressive shit, that talking to anybody, bringing out the best in people. Some people fail with him. Some people had their biggest moments in their life and their career with him. But people love that shit for years, and to like kind of see the narrative change, see the language being used, see this being during election season again, where they always use some black man to sacrifice in the media to distract attention, to always kind of make us the face of something. Where the fuck are the Epstein papers at and shit? Like, get this man out of jail unless somebody got some solid proof. Put this shit out. What are we waiting for? Like a trial and shit. Put the shit out if you got some real truth. But if you got to have a trial, that means there's a chance that he can argue his innocence. But they want to break him. They want to break these black men that get to this level. Unless he's gonna be Jay-Z and Beyonce and shut the fuck up, you get to this billionaire status, Kanye, anybody, you out of here. Only Robert F. Smith is gonna be able to, because he's in this business realm. But you entertainers that have influence over the youth and the mass, and your message can really change and reverberate. You gonna do what we want, or we gonna break you. So he might not go. He might beat the case like Herb, but they're gonna break him. They're gonna break his finances. They're gonna seize money. Continue to try to embarrass him because. The freak shit has been there. He's done something to piss somebody off, some power off, and they're bringing all his dark to light that everybody has. Like everybody got some freak shit. It might not be as worse or manipulative or no crazy, but everybody got some freak shit that they brought to the light. It's like damn, like all right, D, like all right, Trey, like y'all do your thing, but we can't act like this gonna be happening to like black men. Like it is a black man thing. It is a rich, powerful black man thing. Like it is him getting older and surviving and living through the Biggies and the Pox and the people from that era. And it's like I said, unless you're quiet, Dr. Dre, like are certain people, you good. But if you know, Diddy was out here, he brother love, he talking, and he suing, and he talking black power, and he talking black ownership, and it's like, all right, bring all this dark shit out. You know, we gonna pay some people off like he used to do. Everybody for sale out here. So why are we thinking everybody's so genuine? Like, oh, I finally have the strength to tell what Diddy did to me. He grabbed my nuts too. Like,
hey, but I said, but we seen Diddy in action. Like, remember making a band? He sent them people to get that cheesecake, and then he wasn't even there when he came back. We saw the.
But that's not a crime.
We loved it.
It's a show of character though. Like,
but it's not a crime, bro.
There's a pattern. So
he's a dick. I mean, he's a jerk, bro. We know that. But is he
I mean,
Al Capone?
I don't want the man to go down unjustly. Of course not. Like, but I think based on what we know about the culture, that these allegations aren't surprising. Like, we've heard the stories and how he worked back. So I mean, if he did it, he did it. But again, like I say, I don't want to pile on, and I do think all them other ones should go to jail just as much too. Like, I ain't trying to, excuse none of this, but it's hard for me to like say free the guy when I know he probably did a lot of that shit. Like, I saw the video when he did that, Cassie. Like,
y'all think he gonna snitch? Like, we're gonna see a lot come out of that video. A lot of other people get implicated.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm scared that Diddy gonna die in jail. Like, every single other person that's ever had evidence of rich and powerful people doing things that they don't want in the public eye.
See, they took all the evidence.
That's what I'm scared of.
On the raid. So I mean, like, low key, whatever evidence he probably had to blackmail whoever, that's been handled on the back end. You know what I'm saying?
He got a lot of money, bro. He got a lot of houses.
This is. I do agree that,
but he can still talk though. He can
still talk, but like I said, I do agree that he pissed somebody off because he's been getting away with this like publicly for years. Like, let's like same thing with Cosby though. It's like, it took a while. It took that Hannibal Buress joke to kind of go viral for people to kind of acknowledge something that everybody was talking about Cosby for years, but we just didn't know it publicly. But behind the scenes, it was like well-known conversation between comedians about Cosby. But Hannibal Buress makes a joke, and then it starts to get some traction. Same thing with Diddy, bro. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's what.
No, I know. I get what you're saying, but there's a woker perspective on what happened, like, because he was trying to buy a record company then, and then Hannibal Buress, some nobody comedian.
He's not nobody.
I mean, but he wasn't. He was compared to before and after. Before he made that joke, he was way less popular than after.
But he was on Saturday. But he was like a mainstream Saturday Night Live comedian. He wasn't like a nobody, bro.
Whack. Nobody really watches Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Do any of y'all watch Saturday Night Live every week?
Nah, I don't personally.
Not every week, but what I'm saying, if you're a comedian and you make it to that platform, you're not a just nobody comedian. I'm just saying respectfully, it's Saturday Night Live. Like,
so fellas, I just wanted to give y'all a quick update on the poll. The poll said Diddy did it. I don't know.
Hold up.
I don't know if they poll in Oklahoma, so I can't tell you. But the To Be Fair show poll, unfortunately it said that he did it.
Cat Williams said in the interview, like, you can't go to those parties. Like before all this stuff, before the Cassie lawsuit is what really like, it was Cassie and the other dude, some producer that he didn't pay off of the Love album. He filed a lawsuit documenting that he was getting molested, couldn't leave. Carisha's sister was trying to force him to do some shit in the bathroom.
Man, he's a grown man, bro. You can't coerce a grown man, bro. Or not to do some gay stuff, man. Come on.
Couldn't stop it.
Come on, G.
Yo, I'm just saying, yo. I think it's funny. I do think it's funny, but it's like,
G, can they coerce you?
Why do men have to be sexually abused? Like why can't
a grown man? Can Diddy coerce you to do anything that you wouldn't? You know what I mean? As a grown man, are you coercible?
Trey, no. But that does not mean that other people aren't like that. Like me, just because I wouldn't do it don't mean that other niggas won't. Like, I'm just saying, like look, man, look, 1, 2, I'm also not over here trying to make it in the industry either, and trying to like beholden and I'm on this project and so forth. Like, look, I don't know what is going on and what was alleged, but I think those documents and what he was put in a civil suit, when you put that on paper, that this is what you're suing for, and these are the things that was happening, Cassie and him, and then he paid. I think when he paid Cassie, it made him guilty. Honestly, that he should have never paid.
That's not how it works.
He should have never paid.
Why do you think everybody's so quiet? My bad. Why do you think everybody in Hollywood is so like? Hollywood's oddly quiet for everyone that have been at those parties. If he really did a lot of that stuff, you know.
Well, that's why they are quiet.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that answers itself. All right, so fellas, I guess this probably lends itself for time for segue into the actual question. What is woke? Well, it's not the question isn't specifically what is woke, but have we become too woke? So with that, I guess it'd be interesting to go through the timeline of woke being used inside American vernacular. And then I'll ask y'all a follow-up question. So first heard from Huddy Ledbetter in a song, Scottsboro Boys in 1938, which I think he was talking about some black guys needing to be aware of, pretty much them guys inside the sundown towns. Its next iteration was Marcus Garvey, 1940. Wake Up Ethiopia, Wake Up Africa speech in New York. From there through the 60s and 70s, it started to become a calling card for many revolutionaries. It's quoted from Malcolm X to Huey you can kind of pretty much name a revolutionary that has used the term wake up or woke or some version of the term. From the 80s and 90s, it evolved itself into somewhat of a Afrocentric based movement, i.e. marketed by like a lot of the 90s / late 80s hip hop, in which you've seen heavy influence all the way down from Wu-Tang and like the 5 Percenters to the Tribe Called Quest, Diggable Planets, Native Tongues, XYZ. It evolved itself again inside the 2000s and some of the 2010s inside the informational age boom. Oh, my bad. Let me go back to the Afrocentric part. That was a big piece of where a lot of the, know thyself and a lot of that wordage and verbiage started to come out. But you then had the informational boom, which included inside the woke terminology, conspiracies. This is where we started building out, whether you want to say the Bilderbergs or the Illuminati or Bohemian Grove or the Flat Earthers, or you can kind of just go down the line. Which then, if you go mid 2010s, 2020s, you have the social justice warrior, Black Lives Matter, and post that version of it that now has become also co-opted with intersectionality in the LGBTQ community. So I say all those things to say, first, what is do you have a favorite version of quote unquote a woke time period? If so, what is that? And then we'll start building from there. Not necessarily needing to define at the moment, but just asking, do you have a favorite version of woke?
I'll say, I think mine is like that the late 80s, early 90s, like when it first started getting into like hip hop, especially and even like TV shows like early Cosby Show, the Hillman Show. Like I remember because growing up, like I'm a suburban guy, growing up, a lot of that street stuff was kind of like off limits to me. So like I didn't have a lot of role models that was like gangsters or out there in the street. The black man that went to college that actually knew something and stuff, that was like a very big role model for me. So I was always interested in learning and having that information, and I always thought that there was a lot of power in that for black people. Now, of course, like we get here in 2024 and it's a totally different version of that. And I think what it is now is the opposite of like helpful. I mean, it's actually counterproductive. So like that
Johnny,
early.
you answering too much of the question right
My
now.
bad, my bad. Yeah, I'm a tear.
Yeah, just your like, do you have a favorite version of woke? G, talk to us.
I agree with Johnny. Like that era in the late 80s, 90s, just that sort of energy that was, it was just like, how can I explain it? Like you would just see like a lot of pro-black mentalities in the neighborhoods, in the community as well. So I think like that era is what stands out to me just based off of my personal lifetime. I gotta agree with Johnny on that one.
David, talk to us. Do you have a favorite version of woke? Not going into defining it, but just a favorite version of woke, if you believe in woke.
Man, definitely the beginning, because it's just another example of like other things where like FBA.
So that like the when it was kind of like a revolutionary calling card.
It's exactly what I was about to say.
Okay.
Like our revolutionary spirit and like our moral capital, and that gets hijacked by liberal agendas, and we see this happen time and time again. So my favorite was before, whenever it was only in terms of black issues. That's my favorite time of woke. As soon as it got turned to like flat Earth and mess like that, it went the way of like hip hop now. So.
Gotcha. Black.
Yeah, I'm kind of going with the beginning of woke too, like that UNIA Marcus Garvey was really kind of my introduction to it, and waking people up. And I feel like especially during that era, where access to information was still limited, like it was a literal like you really putting people on like to where you're from and where you come from, and this whole big gap at that time must have been crazy. And I think probably that in the maybe early 2000s Afrocentric scene and like poetry spots and shit, used to kind of see the woke and hear that word a lot. But that was really kind of, I heard it the most, and it meant a good thing still. Like I feel like now it has been kind of co-opted into this negative thing, kind of how they did Hotep, and they do a lot of different.
Don't go there yet. Don't go there. We gonna walk our way to there. I guess if I was the answer, I would say mine is kind of it blends it, but it's that 2000s to the informational boom, which is kind of like, if I was to put in the side like an era, it'd be like the 08 through 2012. And of course that probably is just biased because that's when, quote unquote, I went through like, I guess my whole like informational boom and the blending of like black identity, black pride, black self-awareness with pushing the boundaries of what we believe, with quote unquote conspiracies, and like using those as a launching pad to start thinking critically. For me, that probably be what I say is my favorite. So before we go again into it, we just kind of teasing it at the moment. I like to ask y'all, what is y'all favorite quote unquote woke conspiracy? We can go Illuminati, Bohemian Grove. We can go 5G.
So woke by like
we can
new
go like
new woke
Yaku.
definition, not necessarily.
No, this is all like any woke definition. This can be the like undercover brother, the man. Like I said, we can go David Icke reptilian. You can go Yakub with the nation. You can go, like I said, Bohemian Grove, like whatever one. I'm just interested. What is a woke conspiracy theory that might have caught you, or at least caught your attention for a second? or fluid binary gender trans, if that's any of y'all thing. I ain't want to leave that out.
Yeah, my favorite by far is about our origin and
Okay.
like the historical narrative that we know, like the Western perspective versus 200,000 years of ancient history, and then they're finding all these roads that are under the rainforest, the ground penetrating radar. So, but we don't hear much about this unless you go read some of the original books that the explorers wrote, or some of the anthropologists from early on. So, and I think that's kind of like crucial too, because we were somebody before we were slaves, and I don't think the narrative is as simple as, we were just in some Africa doing what they said Africans do back then, which we know that's not true. We had civilizations there, and they just came around us up, and then we didn't have civilization until they taught us so, and that's basically what they have you believe. So, I debunking all of that and finding all of our great achievements and everything that we had before European contact. That's my favorite woke topic.
Gotcha. A Black.
Favorite woke topic? Yeah, the flat Earth thing kind of definitely tripped me out. Like,
You went through a flat earther phase?
No, I don't think I've had no extreme.
Okay.
Like, that's just one that is that's more fascinating. But I don't
okay, got you.
I don't believe in it. I'm just like, really, guys? Like, yeah.
Listen, they'll tell you how if you get high enough and the earth don't curve, or it's something about that in the ocean. It's something about that.
The stars are projectors.
Yeah. Or a globe. But it was a fun time inside, like 2012, 13, 14. When you get inside them woke circles, you'll hear some things. Johnny, what about you?
I mean, the flat earthers one where I've had like really good philosophical debates about. I mean, if you just get outside of is the world actually flat, and what, like, because I think what people have a hard time like kind of explaining out or like breaking down is like it's not necessarily about the earth, but about science and propaganda and stuff. But I think that gets lost in that one. The reptilians is another good one, but to me, I've always had great debates over like flat earth and what actually is truth and who kind of delivers truth. I've always personally, like that one. And that kind of woke me up to about how a lot of these things work to that one.
Got it. G, talk to us.
Man, I think I got two favorites. One is like the conspiracy of like who runs the world, so to speak. Like, whether it be Illuminati or these group of families or the bankers, like that whole conspiracy is always interesting to me. And then the other one is with like extraterrestrials. That's always got my ears perked when conversations about non-human life. If I hadn't had too much whiskey, I would quote 3 Stacks with the swear I spot one every now and then with alien, blend on in what you can. Like ever since that, when I was young and heard that verse, I was like, yo, this nigga crazy. Yo, like ever since I heard that verse as a youngin', I would be like, yo, are they one of them? Like, and that made me go down like a wormhole of like with the reptilians and the extraterrestrial, what's human, non-human. So like those are probably my two favorites.
Gotcha. Okay, so I guess I would say, like I said, probably that boom of like the Kemetic, Egypt and Black discovery that was for me like the 08 through like 2012, the introduction of like Instagram and memes and like the quick not sound bites, but pictures of information. That was a good one. And I also I give an alley-oop to one of our panelists where my first introduction to the reptilians was me going recording a record at G House and him putting on a documentary and showing us how David Icke told him I don't know if he told him, but specifically he was giving a speech about George Bush being a reptilian or something like that. That was an interesting like moment where I remember thinking like, man,
David
Icke
be
like theories out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That maybe I like throw some of like during that era of like Masonic and like that whole little discovery look at music video shit. But yeah, so nonetheless, that's where I'll kind of land that at. So I'll ask y'all this. I did give the timeline of woke. And again, before defining out, I have 2 questions for y'all. Is woke black? Was that a black derivative term? And if you do believe so, has it been co-opted? I'll toss it in the air. Who wants it?
Definitely. I think quick answer for me, it was. And like I said, I think it's been picked up by all these outside groups, LGBT and all of these other groups. And then I think the conservative right has kind of picked it up as a way of anybody that's like challenging them or or saying any type of weird shit. So it's definitely like something else that kind of has been taken and switched up. But initially it was ours. Because we was the one that needed to get woke, you know. So why would they have use for it in their culture?
Got it. Trey.
Man, it definitely means. Did you hear the Erica Badu interview where she was talking about how they say like war on woke in Florida, and then when they use it like that, I think they mean black, and like just like when they say thug or when they say N word, when they say war on woke, Ron DeSantis, I think he means war on black a lot of times, but at the same time, I think it's easier for him to do that.
You think about that? You think that mean that today now?
Man, because they lump us in because he's trying to change the textbooks, but he's also saying woke means the stuff with the T community. So it makes it easier for us to be targeted because when we spend our moral capital, or they try to make us take our moral capital with terms like woke and then spend it on things that may be a little bit, very alternative and outside of our, this is that intersectional type topic we were talking about before, where woke was originally for black consciousness. Now, since it means other things with intersectionality, I'm not just black, I'm black LGBTQ. Not me. I'm saying don't say that sound
Clip it.
or I'm not black, I'm a black woman. I'm a black boule, or I'm just like when we have all this intersectionality stuff, that's when woke becomes not woke's more like what does woke mean besides black and rainbow in the common lexicon?
Well, I mean, I guess that'll get into us defining it. Let's hold off on that. That's pretty much what we're gonna do next. Johnny.
I mean, I think it was black. I mean, I think we created it clearly, but like I think it's clearly not woke idiot. Like it's not us no more. We're not driving the woke bus no more. Like we don't make no decisions on like what they're gonna do. Like and honestly, I don't want it no more. Like it's just like just like a lot of them other like the neighborhoods. Once they put up the Starbucks, it's like it kind of loses like the soul of it. So it's like it was, but now it's not. And I think, like Trey said, the moral capital, we can still do the thing without necessarily just having the word. It's more about the idea behind it, especially the original idea.
Got it. G.
Yeah, it's definitely something we created. And I think Black Lives Matter is what like bastardized the term, if I'm being honest. That's where I think it started to really shift into mainstream culture. Started with Black Lives Matter, and then it really like hit its stride post George Floyd. So that's my take on it. It's definitely black, but today is not what it was. You know what I'm saying? Today it's something that's almost like an all-encompassing term to suggest something about somebody as it relates to race, sexuality, or really just being liberal and progressive. It's kind of like is what like woke is almost synonymous with progressive today, in my opinion.
Gotcha. So quick housekeeping before we get into the meat of the conversation. We are streaming on pause. No Diddy, mate. Nah, let me stop. So I would say we are streaming on G-ish podcast page as well as the To Be Fair show. There are super chats available. As you see, some of our panelists had a cash app in their bio. If you like what they're saying, hit that cash app. Show a little love to the platform, to the panelists. But with that said, we did have a couple videos sent in. So we'll start with this and then we'll kind of dive into the teeth of the conversation.
This woke self-loathing.
And we will never let the woke left take it away.
It's because they're putting woke ideology
to a woke mob that can't even tell you what a woman is.
This is such a regular part of the English language that it would seem that the obvious connotations would to be unconscious. And so in a way that should be the first thing that people think of, right? Because that is what it is meant for so long. That is how it's been used. In recent years, racial conservatives have co-opted the word woke for their own purposes. So what we're seeing in the state of Florida with anti-woke legislation, stop woke legislation, is to be a counter to these calls towards racial justice, right? And so it's really telling that a word and a term that has been couched in African American Black culture and politics for well over 100 years is being turned on its head to be framed as something that there needs to be anti-legislation to shut it down. The word woke does not mean anti-anybody. The word does not mean anti-white. If it means anything anti, it means anti-white supremacist.
The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, which features
Oh, my bad.
the diabolically dumb and dangerous book, White Fragility, from race hustler Robin DiAngelo. I mean, what could be better than sitting down in front of the TV with the kids, watch this catastrophe?
The descendants of slaves continue to build this. Slaves built this country. And we, the descendants of slaves in America, have earned reparations for their suffering and continue to earn reparations every moment we spend submerged in the systemic prejudice, racism, and white supremacy that America was founded with and still has not atoned for.
Oh, wait. I didn't know the Proud Family was turning up like this.
Yeah.
I don't remember this one. I don't remember.
Yo, that shit is hilarious.
Not freedom. Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, public schools, feeding private prison, where we become slaves again. As we celebrate Juneteenth for the umpteenth time, our account is still outstanding. Because this country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. And we demand our 40 acres and a mule.
That is hilarious.
There's a guy who understood how good intentions can turn into the insane arrogance of thinking your revolution is so fucking awesome and your generation is so mind-bendingly improved that you have bequeathed the world with a new kind of human. You're welcome. With communists, that human was no longer selfish. In America today, that human is no longer born male or female. And obesity is not something that affects health. You can be healthy at any size. Really, we voted on it. A formerly serious magazine last year published with a straight face an article called "Separating Sport by Sex Doesn't Make Sense." Yes, it does. Because again, we haven't reinvented Homo sapiens since Crystal Pepsi came out. I've spent 3 decades on TV mocking Republicans who said climate change was just a theory. And now I got to deal with people who say, you know what else is just a theory? Biology.
Okay. All right. So, fellas, I get, like I said, I think we're in the teeth of the conversation now. I'll read off 2 definitions that I've kind of gathered, one for current times, one for previous, of woke. For current times, it says being aware of and attentive of racial bias, gender inequality, social inequality, and systematic bias that affect marginalized groups associated with issues like police brutality, white privilege, institutional racism, and gender inequality. The next would be the previous, encouraging skepticism of the power structures, becoming aware and promoting Black pride, self-awareness, and knowledge of self. Yeah, that pretty much kind of wraps that definition. So, fellas, I guess I like to ask y'all, how do you define woke? And have you ever been woke? If so, when did you wake up?
Yeah. For me, I mean, being woke is a process of constantly waking up. It's like, meaning that you constantly learning, constantly soaking in knowledge, but just being aware outside of your own self, your body, your own consciousness, aware of how you got to be where you are, where your history, your surroundings, just like not being blind to your place in society and how you got there and how you want to change it if you do want to change it. But it's just being aware, and you can go back to sleep, because people get distracted and pulled. That's why it's like you gotta continue to wake up. It's an awakening, but it's just basically not just going through life like not aware of powers beyond you, I think.
Gotcha. Trey, talk to us. Are you woke? And how do you define woke?
Man, I am like too woke. Like I don't look at anything at the surface.
They need a nap.
Like I don't believe anything that's told to me without proof. And I'm very critical of everything. Even if I see a book, I have to cross references. If I don't see it multiple times, or if it comes from a person that is a known liar, like this whole thing with Diddy. Like I get it that what he did was wrong, but at the end of the day, the bigger picture is what that's my 100% of my focus. Like, because that goes to what the second definition you said, which was the original definition, is being aware of white supremacist systems and the impact. So the crazy part is like most people don't want to be woke, and it's even difficult to have conversations with anyone because if they don't want to be, they're just gonna come up with the ways to tell you that you're wrong, and then you're just gonna sound crazy because not like the majority of people are not aware and they don't want to be aware and they just believe what they see on TV. Especially, unfortunately, like we talked about last week, the boomers, who I love and and who I love, and I respect them outside. I don't respect their political strategy, and I don't respect their view on culture or any of their, like, I respect their opinions, but I don't, anything they say, I just I don't really.
Trey, you're on a tangent. Go ahead.
Okay.
You got stuck on old people. All right.
Yeah, because I want to be easy on, because they were eating me up last week in the comments because I hurt a lot of feelings. I apologize to anyone that might still. I didn't come there seeking to offend anybody. But back to it's crazy, in all those clips you played, they didn't mention Black people not one time, and then a word like woke, that came from Black people. But the Proud Family did, but they didn't do it without. If you don't like, that show has a lot.
And they said reparations. I thought you would love that.
Well, they said that's the new season.
It is, but they put a lot of rainbow agendas. Yeah, they brought it back, and then like a few of them are rainbow, so they kind of force a lot of that agenda. And it's a kids show, so it's like they do reparations, but this whole thing where they have to tether on other issues.
Trey, let me ask you. This is a really quick sideball question, but I feel like it's necessary to ask it. If they paired a reparations bill with an LGBTQ policy, would you be for it? If in your words, they tethered it on.
That's
man. Would it be cash reparations?
Yes, cash reparations.
But like only for Foundation Black Americans.
Yeah, only for Black Americans. But like like you get into like they allow them books inside elementary or something like that.
So the rainbow stuff wouldn't like specifically. It won't be like where Africa where they're withholding. UNICEF is withholding foods until they sign no.
They just start teaching it inside like elementary school, like or they allow the books in elementary school, and let's say you ain't gotta tell your kid your parent that you transition and your teacher can see it and they ain't gotta let them know, like the stuff they passed in California.
So if I use my reparations and we start our own school,
yes or no? I'm just asking yes or no.
No. I mean, but
if they tell you the reparations with heavy LGBTQIA policy, would you be okay with that?
Bro, if they gave us enough money to go do what we want to do, then they can do what they want to do too. I don't care, bro, because we can take our reparations money and start schools, and then they can just go be rainbow, and we can just do what we need to do. I could care less. Let it burn.
What if they want to do the man before you got your check?
Well, if you would,
what kind of
that's that coercion. See, even with that, you can't coerce me. But Diddy apparently coerced people with
listen,
360 deals.
You got your check, everything you owe since Reconstruction, you paid out.
And you have to do what now, A Black?
Yeah, that's a wild question, boy.
So what? You have to be gay.
Lips, and that's it.
You have to like kiss somebody on their lips.
A man, not somebody, another man.
Are we talking about like a stud?
A white man.
He said a stud.
I mean, technically, what if a woman? What about a woman that identifies? What about a woman that identifies?
Oh
as a
no,
man?
A white man, man. You gotta get it.
Can it be a white woman that identifies as a white man?
Oh no, you lose it. White woman. That's part.
I would compromise and say if it's a white woman that identifies as a white man,
a trans woman, you would kiss her.
A trans man.
Means a woman who identifies as a man.
No, trans man. Oh no, trans woman. My bad, trans woman.
That'd be a trans man.
That's a one. That's
y'all niggas clearly don't have no clue.
I'm asking about a trans woman.
I don't even talk about them issues. It's not my bag, man.
Johnny asking something else, but he's asking about the studs. I'm asking about trans man. All right, look, we too far down this wormhole. Hey Black,
you a wild one for that, bro.
Johnny, define woke. And are you woke? Have you been woke? If so, when did you wake up?
I'm second definition woke. Like that second one that you read out. I mean, that kind of defines me about like just being the awareness to the systems that have held us back. And it's a weird thing that kind of woke me up. Shout out my boy David Walker up there, but down at USC, I remember we had watched that Loose Change documentary.
Oh shit!
And that opened up a rabbit hole.
Zeitgeist was another good one.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah, and so that's where a lot of the original rabbit hole started for me, was getting into college and just learning that a lot of the stuff that I thought wasn't, and then you start looking at a lot of other stuff and start analyzing and critiquing a lot of things you're getting told, and you're like, a lot of it don't add up. So yeah, that Loose Change did it for me way early on.
Gotcha. G, same question.
So I would say if I define it, I would define it as something like somebody who embraces this idea, the saying that like a man who knows something is the one who knows that he doesn't know anything at all, like that phrase, right?
That's like full post.
But that, well, I guess that's not just Badu. I think it's also like pulled from the Bible too. But it's it's definitely a Badu song for sure.
I think that there's I guess like a framework that kind of is based around that and some would say like woke ideology is all based around it. Like the train or the linear line of woke kind of goes Marxism, postmodernism, woke. That's kind of hope, and the whole postmodernism is that exact thing where pretty
Marxism?
much. Well,
When does
do you understand
Marxism
what
have
Marxism is, right?
I don't think. What does that have to do with woke?
Trey,
I've
in
never
Marxism.
heard.
You
No, I'm
continually
not a
quote
Marxist.
bourgeoisie. Do you know what
But that-
bourgeoisie comes from?
But that doesn't mean I'm a Marxist because I
That's
think
a
there's
Marxist
elite,
ideology. Do you understand that?
No, you're saying because I'm acknowledging there's a class of powerful elites, that means I'm a Marxist. No, bro.
That ideology comes from Karl Marx.
I think the term comes from Karl Marx. Not that term applies, but I don't believe in the Marxist ideology.
There's a notion of Marxism inside what you think.
I
like
mean,
most revolutionaries inside the like the 1960s, 70s were socialists, and that comes from Marxism.
So you're saying I can't acknowledge there's a powerful elite group of people?
When you start using the word bourgeoisie, that's literally Marxism.
So if I call the powerful elite who we know are just
only thing you're not saying is proletariat.
Oh, I mean the grassroots proletariat. If I acknowledge that there's a rich, powerful,
so you believe in
elite,
that too? That's fully Marxism then.
But I just got to ask you this question. You're saying if I acknowledge there's a powerful elite, that means I'm a Marxist? If that's true, then I guess. But I think that anyone with open eyes can see
like
there's a powerful
as
elite.
broad of a stroke that you go with that, then I guess it kind of does. Yes, the answer would be yes.
I don't think that is what the definition of a Marxist is. If you notice that there's a powerful elite, because I think
what is your
even MAGA it says that there's a powerful elite, because MAGA, they made that song Richmond, south of Richmond or something like that, and that is acknowledging a powerful elite. And you wouldn't call him a Marxist, would you?
I don't know. Like I would have to.
He calls him a bourgeoisie
ideology. I think a lot of people are contradictory, and they don't understand when they start speaking about power structure. What is that theory based out of? When you start talking about like again like the 5% or the 10, like the ruling class and all of these words, what this comes from, the idea of like overthrowing the government, revolutionary, like all of these are based out of like the whole little Marxist hierarchy.
Man, the term bourgeoisie comes from the French Revolution, though, right? Is that Marxism? Because they were called that's a French word, I know.
Yeah, to my understanding, it falls under the ideology of Marxism.
Yeah, so it's French. So that means they were Marxists before the French Revolution was about Marxism, even though Karl Marx came around after the 16th century where the French Revolution was. So I don't think that you saying the word bourgeoisie means you're a Marxist, because that word predates Marxism.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I think I was saying so I think I was saying the definition of my definition of woke is basically embracing that idea that we don't really know everything. And there's a lot more that we don't know, and you should have an open mind about things versus being closed off, like, and embracing like a knowledge seeking perspective. Like that to me is what it's about. And I would say for me, like I have an older brother, probably like almost 10 years older, and we didn't grow up in the same house. So when we did link, he grew up in an era where he was in like high school in that early 90s era with Public Enemy, and he was heavy into like that type of vibe, and Wu-Tang, etc. And he really was like kind of helped me fall in love with hip hop. But aside from that, he put me on to certain things because he was a part of the nation. He would share certain books with me. And one of the books that stood out to me early on as a young one was From Niggas to Gods. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that book, but I got my hands on that book before I was really even reading books. And I was just reading what was in there. And, one of the reasons why I got put in anger management as a kid was because I told the teacher, go tell that white boy to be quiet. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I started gaining this perspective of like how I was being treated, how I should be, you know, like I could just start to see how things was different for me versus other people, and I would start talking. So I think that was for me a big part. And also my mom married my stepfather, who was a little bit older, and he grew up in old school Durham, Hayti, went to Old Hillside, went to Central and everything. And he would give me stories about what segregated Durham was actually like too. So I'm like, okay, I'm now hearing more stories about his experience growing up, having to stay out of the white part of town, etc., stuff like that. So I feel like I had that kind of instilled in me even in elementary school, and that might have been to my detriment to some degree because I didn't really know how to process all that at the time.
Gotcha.
Detriment.
So you was early
because I got in trouble. It almost like it made me angry. It made me lash out. Like again, like it got me in some situations where I might not have had the emotional maturity to really process what was going on.
Don't you think that's healthy? No, I'm saying what I think is kind of weird for as Black people, everything we've been through here, everything that's constantly going on, for us to be like if you're a Black and you're not mad as hell, then you don't know what's going on.
But the issue, the reason why that's not healthy is because they'll use that to criminalize us. Like, so again, this goes back to other conversation we had months ago at this point about like, who do we want teaching the kids what and when do they learn it? It's like, it does make me mad. And when you're young and emotionally immature, you might act in a certain way, which could cost you, put you in because you know school to prison pipeline is a real thing. And once you start getting suspended at school and you start getting a reputation of like this angry kid, like you start getting isolated, you start getting put in another room, you start getting put away from the classes. Like it's not. That's why I say it was arguably to the detriment to some degree because I was acting out. I was going crazy.
But don't you think it's better that you are mad versus you like be unaware of, you know, like not, if, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what could happen to you, you don't know how to move behind enemy lines because you don't even know that you are behind enemy lines in a lot of situations because a lot of racism is taught in the home to these kids. So you would have to deal with that face to face without your, you know, don't your people owe it to you to let you know how people could be before they put you in a position where you'd have to confront that and not understand why?
I don't disagree. I just said if you don't have, you know, somebody could give you some news, right? And if you aren't prepared to process that information, it could cause you to respond in a way that could end up being detrimental to your future. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So that's really all I'm saying is that I was so young at the time, I didn't have the perspective, like I didn't have a mature perspective to say the least, let alone just age one. Like I'm a kid and I'm hearing all this stuff and I'm mad about it and I feel like I'm relating to it in real time. It's like I don't have the skill set to address this in a productive way. And for Black boys especially, again, like that's how we end up school to prison pipeline. Like once they label you like that in school, bro, the statistical likelihood of that then leading you to being criminalized is very high. And so, you know, and I've already so yes, like I said, it's we do need to know, but we also need to make sure that we are talking about it in productive ways so that it doesn't like cause further harm to our communities. Because we are a target.
Because we all seen Roots, and if you were like me, like I was mad for a little while after seeing that. You know,
I don't know. Roots was kind of funny to me as a kid.
Funny,
yeah.
That shit was funny. It's crazy.
It was.
I think a Jewish person watch Schindler's List and be like, "That's so funny." Like that's crazy. Never mind.
I mean, you think you think that Roots, like, because it was an old ass show, like you talking about something that was old and you watching it in the 90s, like it didn't look, it just was not like, I didn't relate to Roots. Roots was not something that I will like. Roots is, I don't think Roots is like that. I don't give Roots that much.
I guess what I
credit.
would say, a lot of jokes did come out of
No question.
Roots, for sure. I think I was too young to really like get the gravity of Roots when I watched it. I remember my people, like, we sat down and watched the whole thing, but
it's like my mom's generation show.
I was too young, per se.
I don't know if I answered the second part.
Okay.
But I think for me, like, I was kind of indirectly getting woke just through people I was around. Like, so I spent most of my time with my great grandmother growing up. She was like definitely on her like woke Afrocentric shit, but I didn't even realize it as a thing because that was just like her norm. And then one of my other aunts, and I think it was really when I left school, because I mean in high school I had an African American history class. I knew all the basic shit, but never too deep really. It wasn't until my first year in college, my first girlfriend was like super woke. And that's when I kind of realized, like, all right, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, but like I kind of just do enough to get my grade. But like niggas is reading, niggas is studying. Like when I got with her, it was the first time it's like I'm competing with a girl with grades and shit. So she kind of like really brought a lot of that out of me because she'd been on that shit since like middle school, like Marcus Garvey and Angela Davis. Like she's talking about this shit. I'm like, I'm learning about it in class now in college, but she like grew up with it, and I kind of like heard about stuff to kind of offset. But then really the final thing was Malcolm X book, autobiography of Malcolm X. That's really kind of like set me off like on some radical, like I'm reading everything, I'm looking up everybody, like, and then one of my professors at Howard. But yeah, that autobiography of Malcolm X, that was like, all right.
Yeah. See, I gotta reread that. That was one of them 6th, 7th grade books that my parents made me read. Yeah, and you don't appreciate it the same way that you would as like at least like a college age kid or a fully formed adult.
18, 19, my first time reading that.
Yeah.
It just kind of like really sparked me. So I think I already seen the movie by then. So when I read the book, that was also the first time I watched the movie and went back and read a book. Like I never was like, I watched the movie, I'm not even about to go read the book. But yeah, that shit, that book.
Shit.
Yeah,
different.
no, so it's a lot to it. I guess
you know
the
it's
housekeeping,
plagiarized, right? My bad. Yeah,
No. I already know all the shit with Alex Haley and like all that
Yeah.
shit. I'm just still saying it was like a inspiring that maybe you can start reading. Like not that I believe everything Alex put in the narrative. I'm just saying it kind of created my thirst for reading. The autobiography of Malcolm X and fucking Harry Potter. That shit made me like, all right, I can read books. Like,
Let me tell you something real woke, real quick. It was plagiarized from a book that was about an American Aboriginal, not an African. But anyway, I'll leave that there.
You talking about Roots or?
Yeah. Alex Haley plagiarized a book that was about a Native American.
Alex Haley claimed Roots was about his family history or some shit like that. Like
it was plagiarized, right? You saw that part, right? He lost a lawsuit for plagiarizing.
I wasn't even aware, but like Trey, I'm surprised you talking about Roots because Roots was definitely the African narrative. It won't the FBA narrative. It was they got niggas in chains from Africa, brought them over here, and that's.
Oh, I'm not a fan of Roots. Like I said, it's plagiarized off a book that's about Aboriginal Americans, not an African.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you were just defending Roots.
Nah. No, I was talking about
still dragging. Yeah.
I'm saying it wasn't funny, but I'm not defending it. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. All right. So, quick housekeeping as we go along. One, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, in social and political theory, the notion bourgeoisie was largely a construct of Karl Marx and those influenced by him.
Bro,
I also would like to bring up.
It's from the French Revolution, bro. I just googled.
No,
it.
If you looked it up, it just describes the French Revolution. The term bourgeoisie comes from Karl Marx.
Well, I'm talking about my studies of the French Revolution. I'm not talking. I don't know anything about Marxism.
Okay,
you're not gonna have me in YouTube coming out like I'm a Marxist, bro. I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
I know that's not something I want to be rocking with.
No, I got you. I remember you didn't believe that Fred Hampton believed in socialism either, but I got you.
I also don't believe he's a crackhead like y'all said, but whatever.
I think you're mixing up your black revolutionaries. You got to know the difference between Fred Hampton and Huey P. All right, so we did run 2 polls. One poll is woke black. We had 57% said yes, 42% said no. We ran another poll and asked, "Are you woke?" We had a 60-40 split. Said 60 was yes, 40% said no. My bad, G. I went Trump on you, and I was the moderating fact checker. My bad. I don't want you to feel like this panel was biased. My
ABC fact checker over here.
Right. But no. So I guess as we kind of like keep walking down the conversation, I know it's easy to list the negatives, so I don't really want to start there. Current day woke culture. Are there any positives, or can y'all list positives to current day woke culture? Again, there is, if I was just to refresh a little bit, there's attack on police brutality, white privilege, institutional racism, gender inequality, LGBTQ inequality. Yeah.
So the question is being woke, is there any positives to it today?
Can you list any positives to current day woke?
Not for us, for them.
Yeah, for them.
I don't even think it's positive for them. Like it's not a nice thing to say about somebody today. It's not used as a compliment today.
How do you think it is? I think in the context of like when it's like the war on woke, like of course you can be too swayed with information, but I think the idea of being woke is to get all the information but question all the information at the same time. So I think the idea of question everything, I think there are some benefits to that. Now you have to, be fair. You have to, be very analytical and be patient with the information. But I think there are some benefits, and even some of the stuff you said about like the policing and the crime. I mean, there are some things just naturally that we'll have benefit from too. Now there's some, we're just talking pro. There's cons too, but I know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Whoever wants to hop in.
How do you think it is that when we brought up woke, we were talking about racial injustice, but all the progress for woke, so-called woke ideologies happened with everything but that, to where now it's like people are so woke that they don't know what a gender is, like they were saying, to where it just constantly blows my mind that, especially talking to someone like the boomer class, where they saw that lady, the black lady, get brought into the Supreme Court, and they asked her what a woman was, and she couldn't define it, even though when they said this job is for a black woman, she signed up, so she clearly knows what a woman is. But I can't believe it's gotten this far left, and we haven't gotten any progress. So I'm a little bit jealous of the progress that the LGBT community gets to get, to where they have people believing foolishness, but we can't even get them to understand that we're owed a debt for being specifically targeted. Like, I don't know. I was just trying to ask y'all, how do y'all think this? Man, how did we get here? When we started a word and then it became my fault. Q, you asking the questions. That's my first thought.
Yeah, and I think that if I was to quickly answer your question, I think G probably summed it up earlier. Probably one of the earlier markers, the easiest markers of when the term became bastardized would be the social justice warrior / BLM era, and where that became attached to it, and it became attached to popular culture, and then that became attached to like anybody. Well, that's where pretty much you would just run the intersectionality gambit.
Oh shit! And it's ran by a tether stud. That's crazy. BLM was ran by a tether stud.
Yeah,
a TS.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
Look what
Yo,
happened.
but once George Floyd died, it put gasoline on the fire because
Tony
that
Rock,
was when
Very crazy.
yeah,
My
he
bad.
is. He is. That's why I'm trying to
Wait,
keep
wait
it.
till later. He's
That's why
gonna be
I'm trying to
like,
keep it moving.
why they call me so? Wait. I know Trey.
Bro, tether is a political term, bro. You saying that somebody called me a PM, like a KKK analogy? If you call me a
we don't got to get into that right now.
Man, I got you, man. But like,
yeah.
calling somebody a tether.
I think that you've now turned like you've tried to like evolve it into a political term.
That's what
I've
it is.
never heard that as that, and y'all have never used it inside like a specifically political term. But nonetheless, like we can like stay to the point. We'll how about if we have extra time at the end, we can revisit the group chat conversation.
Tether's just a racist term. It has nothing to do with your mindset. You're right. Even though I don't know, bro. Like
you said a political term. It has nothing to do with your mindset.
It has nothing to do with your race.
I think the entire thing dealt with like your mindset and your intent with people.
Yes, but you're saying it's the same as
how is that a political term?
Because your mindset is your political, ideology.
My bad.
But I'm saying you're saying it's the same as a racial slur when it has something to do with your mentality.
I didn't even say the word racial slur right now.
Because you were saying when somebody calls me a racial slur, which they do every week.
No, I just said throwing a rock and hiding your hand. That's all I said. That was it. I didn't say anything.
So they can call me a racial slur because I said.
And then
okay.
Well, I think we don't have to get into this. I'm not. Yeah, this isn't my
argument. You already pre-justifying it, but that's the only reason I'm saying is because no, man, I don't want to hear no racial slurs in the chat, bro. It's not my show, but I'm not just because.
But I imagine like parts of the audience probably wouldn't want to hear political slurs as you framed it. That is pushed towards a very specific racial group.
So if they use a racial slur, then if they call me a house Negro, that's the same as them calling me.
Bro, listen. This is where we talk about intersectionality and the Victim Olympics. I don't care about it. All I'm saying is that let's not be a part of the Victim Olympics if there's a rock thrown back at us. That's all I'm saying.
So off code, bro. But I got you.
Appreciate it.
Sound like a fence sitter.
Like, bro, somebody called me a racist slur in the chat.
What's up, man? I got always sitting on the fence, man.
Right, look at me.
It's off code, bro.
This nigga Trey is disgusted.
Bro, we have to, bro. I am so disgusted by off code behavior.
Yo, this nigga is disgusted.
You don't even understand, bro.
All right. Where were we at in the conversation? I kind of forget.
Oh man,
what was we talking? I can't remember what the last. I can't remember.
Talking about, was there anything good in the?
Oh yeah. Any positives that go within the realm of the LGBT? Not LGBT. My bad. Trey got me all the way effed up.
I was like, whoa. No.
Inside the realm of woke ideology in general. That was the question.
Man, I think today specifically, I don't want to be affiliated with nobody that's calling themselves woke. I don't want to be confused as a population that's woke, so to speak. I don't see it as something that I hear and want to identify with today versus say growing up, I would hear it and I could it was like a moth to a flame. I would hear it, I would see it, I would listen to what was going on. I'd be like, yeah, now that's the vibe. Today, it's completely like I said, man, it's not a positive term. You wouldn't in today's context. We wouldn't use that word to big somebody up. We would use that word as the preface to clowning them. That like,
but I think.
Do you think we would, or would that be right mainstream media?
Even us now, like Trey kind of brought up earlier, like them Hotep niggas, like Hotep
but I think
niggas.
The brother knowledges always have gotten
woke niggas
to an extent.
They are not deemed like these are not compliments. If somebody was like, yo, you one of them Hoteps, it's not a compliment. And I think even in our community, if you refer to if you was introduce somebody and you was like, man, he on, he one of these woke dudes, I'm automatically kind of like, okay, like what is like, because it's not typically positive today.
But I think though, like it's not exactly like this, but there's BLM the movement and BLM the organization. I think there are woke people who are like they're the puppets and they get used for nefarious deeds. But I think like we would all be considered like in the old term of woke. And I think keeping that mindset, there's still positives. Like I think what we're talking about today, like the whole FBA movement, talking about the diaspora and how to make things better within that. I think those are woke ideals that's, looking to improve, black cultures. When the term came, that's was the ideal behind it, not the modern day. So I think we can still keep the ideals and lose the term. But I think the ideals are very important.
Yeah, I agree.
Gotcha. Hey, Black, do you want to round us out?
Yeah, just similar kind of what they did with Hotep. It's like, yeah, now it's more of a joke, and you're kind of joking on somebody or you saying it in jest. With woke, it's the same thing where they kind of made it. It's like if you're overly ambitious about a topic or subject, it's like, all right, you too woke. You're doing too much. It's like that. I guess it's a balance because like some people do be like just into every like ill in the world, but really not acting on nothing. And I think that's when it kind of becomes like more of a parody versus like, all right, you always got an issue that you're railing against, but what are you really doing? And that's when the kind of the non-seriousness of it comes in, because like I think initially it was about information and making people aware and letting them know who you are, where you're from, and now it's on this like, all right, what are we gonna do? And if you're constantly kind of on your soapbox but not acting in no kind of realm, then it's just like you just super woke for no reason. Are you going in? Those people just extra with it. You about to bite into your sandwich, and that bread you got is GMO and blah blah blah. It's like all right,
is that ham, brother?
It's just you like information that's like, all right, how's it gonna really help us? Because everything is unsafe or something wrong with everything. But like, how are we helping? What's the solutions other than kind of just pointing out the problems and ills?
And it be them same niggas that will make them comments and then bust down a Dutch and roll up like a blunt of some Reggie and want to talk my ear off about
niggas don't
health and environment and they smoking Bobby Brown roll up in a damn Dutch, man. I don't want to hear from these types of niggas, man. Like, come on, man. They want to talk about diet, smoking Dutches with a crystal around their neck. I don't want to hear it, bro.
Man, does anybody call themselves woke though? Besides black people, I've never heard like an LGBT person be like, "I'm woke."
I think that's what specifically the far left in general characterizes themselves as. Like, especially when you get into I think the blue hair feminist in general is looked at as that, like woke, and they say woke, and they have signs that say woke, and like I think LGBTQ and like the whole gender identity, when you get into the cis and all this shit, I think that they start using monikers that kind of like relate to woke and being woke to like gender identity and shit like that.
Oh, so you saying they call themselves woke?
Yeah, I never seen.
Oh, my bad, my bad. If I don't know if they specifically say it, but they speak about being woke to the topic. That's what I have seen.
I haven't seen that. Interesting. Okay.
I think I get what you mean. They'll put it. They'll take the word and insert it in their plight or whatever the case is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like once intersectionality became synonymous with being woke as well, and then that whole power structure of all those different little things, that's when it officially in my mind got co-opted. I guess if I was to answer a little bit, I would say that I think that there are, like, if I look at it the other way, I think that there are benefits to the power structure demonizing and bastardizing the microscope of what would be quote unquote woke, in the idea of looking deeply at all these different specific topics, and like how from top down there is a system that is in place that impacts these things. I do think that there's been a bunch of branches of this tree that has went way too far. They overgrown, and you got to get the gardener out there, for sure. So this is segue a little bit into what I like to go down a couple points, and I like to ask y'all: are you sleep or you woke to these topics? These are certain topics that I look as kind of just doing some research for this, that seem like some popular topics within like the current woke sphere. So are you woke? Sleep. Intersectionality. Within this, we can throw in critical race theory as well. Are you sleep? Are you woke? Intersectionality.
Sleep.
Everybody sleep?
Yeah, I think I'm worse than sleep. I'm like angry. Like I hate that. Like when I hear somebody talk intersectionality, I don't even really want to have a conversation with them. Okay. It's like if I have a conversation with someone, I'm like, are you putting your people first? Your FBA people, your Black American freedmen? If they say they don't say yes to that, then there's really no need to talk to them. If old heads, do you think Black people deserve reparations? If they say no, then I don't need to talk to them. If you say intersectionality, I think we need to have like a civil war where like we just like secede from anyone that has that
believes
mentality.
In intersectionality.
So Trey is comatose.
Yeah, he's comatose. So does anybody believe in like if we just take a group, do you believe that there are specific struggles for women? Yes or no?
Of their own making.
Okay, of their own making.
Boy, that boy cold.
Anybody else? Trey's on his island. Does anybody else believe no or yes? Yes, no.
Yes, women it's definite. They're humans, like, and they're different than us, so they're gonna have their own unique struggles. Like I think that's easy.
What was the question about women?
Oh no, I asked, do y'all just walking this question into like unpacking to where we can have a fruitful conversation. Do y'all believe in, I guess inside a yes and no form, that women have their own specific struggle? Specific to them.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so everybody know. Would y'all think that Black women have its own unique struggle inside the like just the scope of women? Do they have a different struggle than white women in itself?
Yep.
Definitely.
Same answer.
All right, so you said only if they're doing, and it's 3 yeses it looks like. But so like inside that like small form, that is the belief of intersectionality, isn't it? Outside of
Trey. Right.
See, I think for me, intersectionality is it's more about the priority of the intersections. Like intersectionality is a thing, but like what ranks over what? Like what is your true like identity at the forefront versus down the line? I feel like as it relates to Black Americans, the idea of intersectionality, it's got to be Black at the forefront first, and then we deal with other things from there. But it's got to be Black first, in my opinion.
Then that's not intersectionality, then, right? Because their whole thing is we have a separate struggle. They're like Black and woman. They're Black LGBTQ. They're not just Black. And then my issues as a woman aren't because I'm a woman. It's because I'm a Black woman. Like a white woman's not going to have the same issues as me. Any issues that I have under any crowd, under any group is exasperated because I'm Black.
Do you think as a Black man we have our own unique struggles?
I think, yes, but our struggle is more for the community, though, because the struggles that they put on us is to attack the community. Well, I don't think that our struggle.
But do they attack us the same way that they attack the women?
Not the same way, because we're more of a threat. to them. They would much rather, they kind of give women benefits because they would rather deal with a woman than to deal with the warrior class. So they go out of their way to kind of, tell, oh, you're not like those dumb Negroes, like they're just going to vote for Trump. The black women are the foundation of the Democratic Party. Oh, we're going to put, black girls rock Black Girl Magic. Oh, we're going to make some stuff and we're going to make loans only for black women businesses. Like, we're a group. What about the black boys? So I don't think that's really a struggle.
So I was
sound like you just described intersectionality for black men just then.
Got black
Go ahead, G. Or A Black, whichever one.
Nah, go ahead, G. I was just saying they got Black Boy Joy. He was asking about.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, how like if you go to some churches, they'll have like these subgroups. They'll have a youth ministry, a singles ministry, all these other like subgroups in the church where they had their own little like gatherings. I think like black community is the same. It's like we first come to the table as black first, break bread like any organization, and then if you are in marketing, you go with the marketing team. If you are on the support team, you go to support team. You on the operations side, you go to operations. Like everybody's not the same. So I do think, like I said, intersectionality is a legitimate thing, but you can't put something before being black. Like that has to be at the common ground that we all relate on. And then second to that will be these other things that can be addressed once we are all on the same page as it relates to the main thing. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I'm talking more from the perspective of empowerment, strictly from empowerment. Of course, we have our own identities. We have our own existence. We have our own, like, day-to-day things that we need to do. Our life, will be impacted by, being a man or being a woman. But I'm talking about, when we're talking about empowerment, and then feminism takes away from general black empowerment. They're like, my black woman empowerment. That's when I'm like, man, all that's for the birds. You're an issue because you're black, not because you're a black woman. We need, honestly, the only way you're going to get past that issue of being black is if black women and black men come together. You get what I'm saying? But it's pretty much what you just said anyway.
Yeah.
Gotcha. A Black, land this plane, and then we'll get to the next one.
Yeah, I don't know if I got nothing.
Okay, all right, perfect. We'll move on to the next one. This goes a little bit close to where we were just at. But gender inequality, we'll put this as well with I'll just say gender inequality. Are you asleep? Are you woke?
Gender inequality.
Is this in the black community or is this like widespread?
All right, so I guess how do y'all want to frame it? Typically, our conversations are black community based. We are talking about like the current version of woke. But just in general, gender inequality, are you sleep or woke? So let's just say framing this inside black, if that makes it easier.
I would say woke. I mean, I feel like in the equality in our community is, I mean, I won't say it's equal, but they have a lot of the same opportunities now more than ever, I think. So, I'm woke on the issues that they still face, but I don't think it's like as big of a deal as it's been in the past. At least in my life, women are just kind of running everything.
See, that's what I say. The gender inequality is almost like not in the traditional way that you might assume when you hear the word, if we're talking about our community, because I don't think that young black women are targeted how young black men are. And I don't think that's an equal experience personally.
So do you think that black men are targeted more than black women?
No question.
Okay.
Respectful.
But then in itself, there I imagine there is some gender inequality with that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that to me is a form of gender inequality in our community, and the basis that we are targeted, especially like 25 and younger, what it takes for a black man to get to age 25 versus for a black woman. I think I can confidently say the average black man's experience and what he's going to have to go through to get to 25 will be different than that black woman's, in a way where he's going to have more friction to avoid, in my opinion.
Real quick, Q, in the chat, that poll you're doing, when you say "Are you woke?" do you mean like in a traditional sense, or do you mean
the question in general is just like sleep or woke to the? So I'm just it's as easy as I can do it in the poll. That's all. So
if I'll say I'm woke,
question,
that means
if you say woke, that means you're woke. If you say no, that means you sleep. The same general question that I'm asking. The poll just doesn't allow you to elaborate.
Okay, so it doesn't mean if I'm in favor or not in favor, or I agree or I don't agree. I got you. I don't know what the word woke is to answer. That's all. I got you. I was just trying to clarify.
You aware to the inequalities of this, or do you not believe it? Do you agree or disagree? The same difference, yes or no?
Okay, I feel you. Appreciate it.
Johnny.
Could you repeat the question? My internet here went out.
Oh, I think we were on gender inequality. Are you sleep or you woke?
I mean, I'm woke. Yeah, like I said, I think G made a great point too, as far as like we just think of it as like black women going through like their own struggles. Like I know like the medical thing is something where I think black women are targeted a lot more than, you know, black men. I think when it comes to being outside and violence and crime, that's put on black men more. So I think we do have our own unique struggles that are different and need to be addressed as such. And there's different solutions to them. So we don't look at it through different lenses. You might not get the best solutions for every group.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. So poll just ended. We just finished the conversation. This is what we got. It says 60-40. 60-40, no, they're not woke to gender inequality. I guess specifically within the black community. Interesting. Let's move on to the next one. Systematic biases that affect marginalized groups. This is where DEI hops in. This is where affirmative action hops in. This is where equity hops in. What is y'all thoughts? Are you sleep or you woke?
You know, definitely woke on it. I mean, you see, already kind of start seeing the effects, large HBC enrollment and many HBCUs, the job shifts and stuff. Like, so I'm woke on the sense of them trying to rule certain things out in code and in their language, but I'm also from the ilk of like, I don't really want to be in spaces that don't want me anyway. Like, so I think it's good. Like, all right, if we're going back low key on some segregation and shit, I mean, really, that's good for us in our institutions. Like, and you know, in our jobs and our companies, like, why are we having to fight still to kind of be included into these places? Like, you know, fuck them, create our own shit. I don't support them, but I mean, I know it's hard for niggas to get behind something and really cripple a company. But like, you know, don't support it. They're not hiring you, or you can't get a job there, or you can't go to school there. But me, I don't want to be there anyway. But it's definitely some shit that's going on in the legislation where, you know, they on some shit right now for real. Critical race theory, all of that.
Got it. Johnny.
I mean, I think there's always like, if you're a marginalized or minority community in whatever sense, especially in this country in America, capital, you know, the capital of the world, basically, you're gonna have struggle, you know, not being in that ruling class. So I mean, I think they all have their different struggles. I think, what other communities do best and what Black people could probably do better is they look at how we've done and they take a lot of techniques and ideals from us. I think we should start looking at how some of them operate, and I think there could be ideas and tactics that they use that may be beneficial to some of the goals that we're seeking to achieve. So I think everybody's gonna have their struggle, and if you're in a space where you're the minority, that gonna only amplify that, or a marginalized community.
Got it. G, talk to us.
I keep that one short and sweet. Definitely woke. Like pretty much fellas already spoke to it, man. That's kind of like I would say that's one of the easier things to kind of see clearly in terms of what's going on in our community. So I'm completely woke to that for sure.
Gotcha. Trey.
Man, most definitely. That's really what the original term "woke" was all about, right? Like y'all were saying. So this whole systemic oppression. That's why the other week we were talking about critical race theory, like that kind of goes into what I thought that was basically being woke, where you teach Black kids that the reason that they are at the bottom is because everybody else got a leg up. It's not because you are inferior or you just can't get it together. So not that means you have to, just accept your position and have a victim mentality, as a lot of people like to say. It means that you have to be aware of what you're up against and know to be prepared and move in a way that, you're mindful, so you don't fall victim to a cycle or a system, if you will.
Gotcha. And so I guess just to throw it out there, so how do y'all feel about so are y'all for DEI, affirmative action, and equity of outcome? Not equality of outcome, but equity of outcome.
Yeah, I mean, if you go give it needs to be equity. It needs to be that language. People need to be getting equal resources.
I think something's happening with the audio, A Black. Are y'all hearing it?
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, I think A Black.
No, I'm good. I didn't touch it, did I?
All right, no, you're good now. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, what was I saying? Shoot.
You was talking about it was DEI, equity of outcome, and affirmative action.
More from the education side, especially with the money that schools get on the white schools and the state schools versus HBCUs. It's like a crazy difference, and it's affecting that. But other than that, it's just like this might be the time where we be doing our own thing and building our own communities and building our own institutions instead of like, oh, they're kicking us out from action. Like this, fuck it, man. Like let's go build our own schools and communities and colleges and stuff. Why are we crying about them? Or even with the history, they're not gonna teach our history in their schools. Well, we teach it ourselves. We build our own shit. Like,
gotcha. So you're for it, but in general, your plan of action is to do for self.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Anybody else on affirmative action, DEI, and or equity of outcome? Nah. Trey, look like you we can't hear you.
Oh, real quick, I would say DI and affirmative action, I am entirely opposed of anything that's not specifically benefiting the descendants of Black American freedmen. If it's something that's a lift-all program for all minorities, man, throw it out.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Never mind. All right. So police brutality. Are you woke or asleep?
Whoa, I mean, that's been here.
Oh, my bad. Let me reframe that. I guess that's to police reform. Are you woke or asleep?
I'm woke on the concept, but what does reform really look like? it would have to be like some real reform. You know? That's a spiritual thing. Them cops are not training, or they hate you like already before they go to the academy. Like this is how they project, their hate or their power trips. So it's like, let's do some type of spiritual revolution. The cops gonna be the same. Even some of the black ones be on that. Like
a lot of them be on that.
Put on that uniform and badge, and they really think they can control other human beings and shit instead of protecting them and serving them like they're supposed to be. They abusive and shit. So it's gonna be real reform, and like they making credentials. You gotta have a bachelor's degree now to be a cop.
Is that something new that they are doing?
No, I'm just saying, like, what would the reform look like to kind of like?
Oh, I like that. I like a graduate degree to be a cop would be fire, and just pay them more, and I think you get better candidates.
Exactly. That's
people you getting. You get these Billy Bobs and shit. And
you wouldn't have any of this.
No, if you made a graduate degree but paid niggas 150 to 200K.
But yeah, see that now okay, exactly. Like, but
that's why doctors have to go to school and shit. Like,
I think you get way better candidites.
Yeah,
instead of like
totally.
you just have to get a GED and play football, and pass a basic fitness test.
That salary was there, but I don't know realistically, like what city's gonna pay a cop that salary.
You pay
one. You can have less
instead of 5 trash dumbass cops that can get the department in liable because they killing people or something. You pay one good person that's like actually know what the fuck they doing and got social skills and know the community. You don't need to be like heavily policing these communities and shit. But they got drones that like the fucking Empire Strikes Back. These cops be idiots when you talk to some of them. And
Call of Duty and shit.
But instead of giving them 60, 70K, you can afford to pay somebody 150, and they be like a bomb ass cop and like really on their shit.
Yeah, the cop, the whole each department would be like 3 cops total with them salaries. Like, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you probably just cut it in half. They're getting paid 60 or 60 to 70 if you just pay them 150 to 180. It's kind of like every 1.25 or something like that.
And you'd weed out a lot of that like hate, because a lot of times with the cops, it's like a animosity. Because a lot of them feel like under, I don't say underprivileged, but overlooked. They have authority issues, and you get that power and you get to take it out on people. I think if you get that, if you go to college, get that graduate degree, like you say, it's gonna get better candidates. A lot of those, bad apples that we have, they not gonna go through that. And even if they are a bad apple, once you get in school, you get around so many different people, it naturally gonna open your mind up and make you a little more woke. So yeah, I definitely agree with like the right kind of police reform.
Right, you get what you pay for, but you can't reform that though. What's OG?
Like I say, I like the idea, but to me, the thing that has to be reformed is like the law and the policy that they get to jurisdict. Like if you look at the policing and how a lot of it is like, abused, it's oftentimes because of like drugs. I smell something, I see something, look like you was exchanging something, like not like if you decriminalize a lot of the things that cops stop people for, that's the way to change what's going on. Like you got to just make it not be a thing anymore. Like that's the only way to let the cops chill. But if the cops know they have the power to just say, I have a suspicion and now I can like basically like do what I want here next. Like I don't think no matter how much folks get paid, that's a social experiment, right? Where you put people in as prisoners and other folk, they weren't criminals, but they put some in as prisoners. They put some in as the guards. And eventually the psyche of that role just took over both sides. Even though none of them were like that, the fake criminals started to act like criminals. And then the fake guards started to act like guards. I still think if you give any cop with 150, 180K salary with a master's or whatever the case will be, you give them the same power and privileges that these cops have, that human nature will take over.
Gotcha. I guess I just think that you'll get a little bit better of a candidate, and you'll get a little bit better of an outcome. I think that the impulse control of, say, somebody that does that, we don't. I don't want to make up like imaginary degrees, but if like they let's say they had to have like real degrees within like human science and behavior, and go through, you know, like whatever training within like working with specific groups or something like that at a master's level. I think that would help them when it comes down to dealing with people, in which a lot of times, even if you talk about like the criminal behavior of like whatever groups of like lower socioeconomics, there's a lot of undiagnosed, and then you can just put in the like buzzword right there that goes with a lot of that you recognize. If you're uneducated, you look at that as a threat, i.e. the black woman that just got shot in the house with the I don't know what she had, a pot of water or something like that, and a guy and a white police officer act like she was about to. She said some religious thing, and he said that she was trying to curse him and throw the water on him or something like that. Right. In comparison to like a police officer that has psych training and understand that they've been to that house 7-8 times, and this is a person that is dealing with like, you know, like a mental episode, and they called you for this whole scenario. See, they're not even like the I don't know what the word be, like the person that encroached on the crime. I think that you just get a bit of a better outcome in general when you have more educated, less impulsive people.
Of course, like you, that goes for any job you have, because if you have a job that underpays you, you're gonna be quicker, and you have a job that is gonna be like triple your income. You're not gonna be late to that interview. You're gonna be there on time. You're not gonna mess up. And even deeper, if they would just simply get rid of qualified immunity, so these police officers will be personally accountable, and then also the qualified immunity. I mean, we could use community policing, but we can't just like, it seems like whenever a cop gets caught in trouble doing stuff, they just move them to another place, and they like try to give them training to not be racist. So it's got to be something where they are held financially accountable for, you know, for their actions. Otherwise, it's just basically a blank slate to do whatever they want to do. Not a blank slate, but, you know, a free pass.
Gotcha. All right, so we got a couple in the chat, but before we get there, I want to throw the big one, and it's easy where we've been like running the line down to. I'll ask y'all. I think that this is probably closer to being synonymous to what current woke culture has become, and what it's talked about. And when you look on Fox News and you look on everything else, what it ends up being associated with. Are you sleep? Are you woke? LGBTQ awareness. We'll just put it inside that general blanket. We can talk about that. Could be gender fluidity. That could be non-binary. That can be trans activism. Are you sleep? Are you woke, fellas?
You said trans activism.
I put LGBTQ awareness in general. So I was just naming off some things that can be bullet points within that realm. Trey, if you sleep, just say you sleep. It's all right, brother.
Oh no, I missed the first part of the sentence, and I just that word just clicked in. I was like, "What are we talking about now?" My fault.
Gotcha.
I was thinking out loud.
Yeah, I'm asleep. I mean, it's like with them and with anybody else. I don't believe in like harming nobody or hurting somebody or killing somebody or anything physically harming somebody because of how they choose to live. But I think anything beyond that extreme is just like, it don't really got nothing to do with me. So I'm also not about to go out here and condemn and march against them. But, you know, I feel like it's funny how they get certain things passed and they seem like such more of a smaller group. Like, I mean, I see transsexuals every single day. And I mean, people like, they out here, they exist, but are they really big enough group to where they get all this legislation and black people just can't get nothing? I don't know. I don't also don't believe in like harming and condemning and, you know, being mean to people and shit just because they're different. But it also don't affect me, so it's only so hard I'm going for them because they're going hard for us.
Got you. Johnny, talk to us.
I mean, like what A Black said, it's not like it's nothing against anybody. It's no hate or nothing. I believe in everybody's right to do whatever they want, but I think as that movement has added leathers, it's become a distraction, and I can't, I can't keep on going down, the list. So I gotta fall asleep on that at some point.
Okay.
Man, I'm definitely asleep on that, as you know. But what blows my mind about a lot of this is how a lot of the people who are most sleep on this are a lot of the younger generation versus a lot of the people that I can't believe that our parents' generation just allowed us to get like this far left to where they're talking about putting stuff in school. They're doing like drag queen story times. Like, bro, like your great grandparents would be so disappointed. And then even some of my I have a couple people like in my friend groups. They're cool people. That they are rainbow, but they don't rock with the T community because even they don't rock with that. But it seems like the people on the outside looking in the old heads, they're just like on this free love thing. So I think there'll be a correction.
All right, so I guess I just want to clarify. So you think right now it's more older Black people that are for like the introduction to the T's than the actual younger generation, and they're not spearheading this?
Eggs up.
Nah, the old people in my spirit, they like are hella offensive, hella homophobic. Like they're not with none of this shit. Like I mean,
but
yeah, I'm trying to understand where you're getting like your
because they voted for it. They brought it in. They approved it because Obama said it. Because Obama said it can't be wrong.
I voted Bush just because he was anti gay marriage. Like she didn't care about nothing else but that.
Oh, for real? You had a Bush voter in your family, a Black Bush voter?
Yeah, it was because of the gay marriage shit, and she said it like, "Oh, it's like we don't need nobody."
She voted. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like they're way more conservative. Like I be having to check, like my mom is like, "Yo, you can't say that these days," because they like. I see how
you must not have seen what was it, the old head real and old head senior show the other day. they was letting the wrong words drop on live. I say, God damn, we can't drop the F-bomb.
But they're still gonna
that no more.
But they're still gonna vote for it though, bro. It's not they're not appalled enough to let it change. Like if a candidate rocks for it, they don't, it's not a deal breaker for them. There's like we'll have to deal with it. Like damn,
right, but I don't think that there's like a hyper majority of younger voters that are voting any different at all.
I think you gotta be more in touch with the grassroots, bro. If you stay in the shade,
I think you got to be more in touch with older people. I think older people in general have way more disdain than like the youth for LGBTQ. Oh no, my bad. No, yeah, when you could just name all the alphabets. And the older generation does have way more disdain for it.
Bro, pretty much all boomers are voting for the Democrats. They can be as gay as they want to be. They don't care. Bring it on. Like say it again.
I don't think they feel that way about it personally.
Yeah.
But they're not.
I don't even think that would be a reason why they're voting at all. That'd probably be a reason to stop contention. But I think that the youth is voting for these things though. Like there's like a huge difference in this.
I don't think
like the people that are outside like picketing, the ones that are pushing for these for the rights, they're like you see very seldom older people. The people that are spearheading the movement, it seems like you're trying to like throw a like you're scapegoating the older generation on something that's spearheaded by like a younger group, and that would be more so what you would call like the far left. I don't think that the push of demographic within the far left would be older. It's always going to skew college age and younger, like establishment Democrats, like moderate Democrats are going to be older, generally speaking. When you go into like progressives and you go into like the far left and like the far liberals, those are going to be like where all the younger people 30 and under kind of skew at.
So you saying straight Black men who are marching for rainbow initiatives? Because I sure don't.
And
like if you're talking about like under 25,
straight,
the ones in college,
straight black men at the Pride Parade, you know, advocating for rainbow issues.
They be having gay sisters and shit.
NLE Chopper.
Oh
yeah, nah, he's making a whole thing of it. That's his whole marketing plan.
I mean, outside of Hollywood, that's crazy. I've yet to meet a young straight black man that goes to Pride parades. They're usually kind of not homophobic, but they're
not a rapper that does it now.
Man, NLE Chopper is like a pure degenerate, bro. Doesn't he have that song called like SLUT?
I think the youth are pure degenerates. Like the youth is degenerate. I think college is where you push the boundaries.
Bro, rappers are not a reflection of our culture, bro. Just because they pick, like, come on, bro. We're back to this whole topic again. NLE Chopper,
right? But I don't think that like voting Democrat is an indictment of specifically endorsing LGBTQIA whatever policies either. I think that like both of those can be reaches.
The only people that I know who are not voting for the Democrat Party because of rainbow issues are people that are my age and younger. I don't know any old people that say that's a deal breaker. You may know some. I don't know. Maybe that's anecdotal. And I also know that the backbone of the Democratic Party is the geriatric community, and that means they haven't.
So what is the age of the like black conservatives? To my understanding, there is an income level to that, and like it's concentrated inside the 30 and 40, 30 to 50-year-old age range. Like there's not like this surge of like 20-year-old Republicans. I don't understand how you still could make that point though. Like there's going to be way more older Republicans than younger Democrats.
But you know that we vote for Democrats as black people in the high 80%, and we've done that for generations, right?
Not disagreeing with that.
Okay, so we've done
that. That's also why you wouldn't put that as an indictment of like endorsing specifically that policy as much as like whether you're establishment Democrat and you go for like the specific thing. Like there's so many other things on the gambit that a person could be for, or you could just be against Trump or something like that. I don't know a lot of older black people that are for any of the LGBTQ stuff like that. Like Rails Pops would be like a great example where he is conservative and he's not for the, like I said, we lucky we didn't get flagged on Saturday, but like his vote is for the specific, like for the party because he's against Trump. Not that he's for any of that stuff because he's vehemently against it.
I get what you're saying. It's like Boys in the Hood where they're about to ride on the ops, and then the old buddy knew it was wrong, so he was like, "Let me out the car." Them old heads not getting out the car. They're going on that ride. They're riding for the Democrat
but the
Party,
ones shooting
no matter what they do.
You know the ones that's pulling the trigger would be the younger generation, though, right?
No, because we're not driving we're not in control of the Democrat Party. This is the biggest wave of black people who.
Hey Trey, you know you're not in the younger generation, also, right?
Well, like my generation and younger.
We're closer to like the older generation.
What
I'm talking about is like 30 and under.
My generation and younger is. We've never seen this many black people question the vote blue no matter who agenda. And this is just stats.
Would you also say that you've never seen this many black people that are for like the LGBTQIA trans movement?
No, I wouldn't say that, bro.
What era would you say that you had more loud support for that group?
Man, I think you can't think just because what you're going by what they see on Shade Room and what you see
I'm
news.
asking you, what generation would you say had more support for the LGBTQIA community?
In the black community.
In the black community, yep.
I would say this generation, we do have more people that are open about it. Yeah. But I'm saying that the climate for that happening wasn't like these kids were born into it. They were born in this world, they didn't make it. So who made this world? And then the fact that they had to deal with this,
you don't be talking to parents. Parents are not,
bro. But they can quit voting. They could quit voting for the Democratic Party. They could have been done that.
You see how like that's a quick equation to like an entire thing, and like you like some people aren't single issue voters. But hey, Trey, me and you, we've been on ISO for a second. Fellas,
I got you.
Jump in here.
What was the original?
Are you sleep? Or you woke to social awareness? And then after this, we'll
was
start
it social awareness or was it related
LGBTQ awareness? My bad.
So it's not the T word awareness. It's the LGBT, the whole acronym.
All of it.
Awareness.
All of it. Yes. All of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sleep.
One eye open.
He got an eye open.
No, but I think let's just say for conversation. So like when Trey was talking about the T's, so I would never. I'm not pro letting kids like do these surgeries and stuff like that. Like I'm not pro any of that stuff, right? What I do think though, just is an interesting kind of thing as we talk about like these communities. As we've also highlighted in other ways, that Black people are disproportionately impacted negatively. And that same thing does apply to their community. That's just one thing I'll say. And that's not just the T's, but especially the T's. When you look at how when there are homicides in that community, I think over 2/3 of those homicides tend to be trans Black women. So
oh Lord.
Hey, look, I'm just saying that Black folks are dying. Black folk, like I put Black
and
first.
G inside your generation. Now let me stop.
But I'm just saying.
I think that's a fair point. So
I put Black before anything else, right? And so if I see a situation like how we saying Black people are disproportionately treated, I don't think it's like I said, it's not something that I have a lot of passion for, or whatever the case. Like it's not my wheelhouse. However, I do think that there should be some sort of advocates for like that reality for Black people in that realm, because it seems to be like, again, I don't know exactly, but for what I understand and read, not just with the T's, but in general, when that acronym community is impacted in negative ways, whether it be hate crimes, homicides, things of that nature, it tends to disproportionately lean towards
Black
folks.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we're gonna start bringing up guests. We do have two favorites. And with that said, I think that we're going to rename our call-in section tonight. We're going to rename our call-in section No Ad Hominems. And with that said, we're going to try and stick as closely as we can to the actual conversation. All the fun shit, say that for the after show. But we're going to try and address this conversation as fruitful to the point as much as possible. So again, we got two calling guests, two favorites, two regulars. First up, I wish I had like the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme music, but hey, bro, we got him. We got Kofi.
Glazing.
We in here. So Kofi,
he's not asleep.
No, he's not asleep. He's woke to the non-ad hominem section of the conversation.
Dang, bro, like come on, like we get it, man.
Listen, all right, so partially I am doing this intentionally because of we do tend to derail, and this is David Walker included, into ad hominem attacks, and I just want to set the precedent ahead of time to stay on topic. And if we disagree, let's disagree without. I try to do it inside like a very lighthearted way, but the serious part of it is let's actually try and have a conversation this time, fellas. And stay away from any version of name calling. Yes, sir, G.
One random thought. Did y'all see this white reporter refer to Haitian migrants as Haitian niggers and then say migrants? Did y'all see this clip?
Oh no,
yeah,
I think it was Donkey the other day too. Like he was talking about something and it rolled off the tongue, pause, like so smooth, where he was like, "Yeah, these Haitian nigger migrants." like yo, that shit was crazy. But if y'all ain't see it, it's never wild. But I just think that joint is wild. That he was like, hey,
"Why Kofi make you think about that?" That's crazy.
Hey, listen, all I'm gonna say, G, way to break the ice, and so we're gonna throw the alley oop. So Kofi, we got 2 to 3 minutes on the conversation. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, and of course, speak to the topic. Have we become too woke? Talk to us.
All right, shout out for G for bringing that up. I saw that. That was wild. That was wild. Basically, I agree with basically everything you guys said. The only thing that I have axe to grind is 2 points. Is where you guys don't have. I'm not saying I know it all, but as far as what I follow, the word woke has been co-opted by right wingers, right? Anything black people create, right? That's positive. On white racists always co-opted, and there's always the white Republicans. So I think it was Childish Gambino, he had a song called I Stay Woke. Erykah Badu had a song called about woke. It was all positive. The right wing media turned that into something negative. So anything that's dysfunctional or just weird or just like people just don't agree with, they attach woke on to it. Right, so now we're people are falling for a word. This is woke, and that's woke. And I put a link in the chat to one of my videos about that. I spoke about that on my channel because this is something that's always done. We always create something positive, and you got white people co-opting into something else. Like G said something about Hotep niggas. It's like, again, Hotep is just a word that means peace. So why something means peace has to mean something negative now? Why? Because it's coming from a black place. It's about a black man telling other black people about the history, who they're from, where they're from. They're the original Egyptians. We the original people of civilization. And you got something saying as Hotep just means peace. Now that gotta mean something negative. So to answer the question, I can't really answer that question because it's kind of a racist question per se. But as far as
if you were to just engage in it as good faith as possible, do you think that because of one, we did speak about how the word has become co-opted. We did like a timeline of kind of how the word has been used and how it kind of made a change. I think G said it got more or less bastardized during the BLM era and got co-opted by white culture from there on out, right? But where it stands at now, in which it does. Where it stands at now and what it has begun to mean, not from the right-leaning media, but from what the left and the far left might look at it as inside usage of. So then we get into like, let's say intersectionality, let's say LGBTQ awareness. Like those are probably like the far reaches that you do hear the word woke used at even with inside the in group. What is your thoughts on that?
I never really heard anyone from the far left, the blue hair waving, and I want to get a sex change people. If that word is used, that word was placed upon them. So I think they're just pretty much owning up to the word. But even if there's a word that they're using it in a very, very disparaging way, because I don't think that word that we were using in the early 2000s, yeah, you woke my brother, yeah, stay woke, bro, stay woke, you know what I'm saying? And then that's get co-opted. So a bunch of far left-wing nonsense is to me is despicable. Even at my job, people say, oh yeah, that's that woke stuff. I'm like, yo, bro, that's kind of, I don't care if you white, whatever. I was like, yo, that's racist. I just tell them straight up, that's racist. But I understand why they're saying it. But I'm just educating them, saying like that's a word that's been co-opted. I'm not going to use that word. If you can use that word, that's fine. But I'm letting you know that it's racist. That's where I stand with it.
Got you. Okay, and that's more or less like your usage of going down the line of Hotep or a bunch of other terms in which you think is has been co-opted and in context is racist if using because it's taken in the context of like right-wing media. Trey, talk to us.
So Kofi, just when you were saying we invented the word woke, was the person who wrote that song Caribbean? I just want to clarify.
Trey, come on, bro. let's stay to the actual concept of what we're talking about.
Because we were talking about where it came from, but okay,
bro. Like we
yeah, it has been. But we were talking about the word
right here.
We were talking about the word being.
I said Childish Gambino and Erykah Badu had a song. They both made songs around the world. Yeah, Childish Gambino and Erykah Badu.
It's from like a blues song, like you were saying during.
Yeah, like it the first time inside the lexicon would be a blues song by. I could look up the name really quickly.
I think it was like the 20s.
It was like it was in 1930. It was Huddy Ledbetter. The song was the Scottsboro Boys, and it was speaking about pretty much one of them sundown towns and black people being woke to making sure that you leave out ahead of time. And then you do have the next iteration would be Marcus Garvey, which was 1940 with the Wake Up speech that he gave inside New York. And then you can go down the line of like revolutionaries from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and down the line. I'll have to do like a specific timeline crunch of exactly what it was. But Kofi, I'm gonna keep you up here, but mute. I'm gonna bring up the next one. Again, we are starting our new segment, the calling. We call it no ad hominems. With that said, we're bringing up talk to us.
What's going on?
What's your thoughts? You've been listening. I know you got your notepad going.
What up?
Yeah, I've been listening. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Can y'all hear me? Oh, yeah. I figure like this right here. Kofi kind of cleared everything up. What I was going to say about woke, how it was something that was started by, you know what I'm saying, black people, and it was for black people, and white people took it and, they ran with it like they do anything else. But, you know what I'm saying, you can not like the word or whatever, but where it came from and what it meant was something positive. But now it's a negative word. Not to understand, like, some people not wanting to, or use it because it's something that's kind of like play it out or whatever right now. But at the same point, you choose what you want to choose. Like some people like the word nigga. Everybody use it. Like, who was that said? My daddy was a nigga. My daddy said nigga. My granddaddy said nigga. I'm gonna say nigga. Was there what's your name? The one in the middle. I forgot. That was you that said that.
Johnny.
No,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that was me. That said.
Oh, all right. Yeah. That was Trey.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it is what it is. You choose what you like and what you don't like. This is America. That's one of the rights we have. But woke, I'm most things that goes on, but I'm, saying it don't mean that everything affects me. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically kind of it right there.
Got you. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I don't have no issues or nothing with, what I'm saying, nobody, if that's what they want to do or whatever. But
got you. All right, so sound like you align close with where Kofi kind of stand. So again, we got another favorite. This one he don't usually come with too much drama, but South Africa's own Kofi. Give us an outside perspective of what you see.
Kamu, not Kofi.
My bad, I said Kofi. Kamu. Talk to him, Kamu.
Yo, gents. The woke thing is for me it really is a term that has been used to group people who have certain thoughts. I mean, Pan-Africanists are called woke, and I don't necessarily identify with the woke gang that in America, but Pan-Africanists generally are called woke. So I guess it's a matter of context. Where exactly, in certain areas, obviously when you are anti-establishment, you're called woke. But from what I get from the panel since the show started, it's like it's not like that over in America. So yeah, it's I don't understand. It's different.
Okay, gotcha. So nonetheless, sounds like woke kind of has a different context to you over there. So fellas, I don't know if y'all are familiar with more recently Elon Musk. He sat down with damn, who was it? Jordan Peterson. And he's recently been going on I don't know if you would say like specifically a run, but he is coining a term, the woke mind virus. I got a quick meme, and from that meme we can get into a discussion. Kofi, mute your mic.
Kamu,
my bad. I keep saying Kofi, my bad, brother. Kamu, mute your mic, please.
I'm worried that everyone around me might have a virus. Well, yeah, COVID hasn't gone away. There's a lot of flu around. No, not that. Although, of course, COVID isn't real. What? And did you know it was made in a lab and deliberately released by Fauci? As well as not being real? Yeah, it's sneaky like that. So did you get the vaccine? Why would I? It's pointless and also deadly, like this conversation. The virus I'm talking about is the woke mind virus. What's that? The most important thing in the world? Nothing else matters? Gosh, well, how do you catch it? People get it from schools and universities. So it's education. No, it's the opposite of education. Reality TV. No, although yes, all of TV is infected, especially the adverts. So what is it? You know it when you see it, but can you define it? Of course, it's people who are infected with the woke mind virus who can't define things. Go on then. Well, you know, it makes people bad and think stupid things. I've just Googled woke is bad and stupid, and one of the first people that comes up is Ron DeSantis. Oh yeah, he's great. He absolutely hates woke. And his lawyer had to define the word woke in court recently. Well, there you go. Read it and weep. Yeah, he defined it as the belief there are systemic injustices in society and the need to address them. Yeah. See? What? Because, well, that's bad, isn't it? What is? Believing in systemic injustices and addressing them. So you don't believe in systemic injustice? No. Well, except against people like me. Right. I never get a fair crack of the whip. And you never see people like me on the television. Plus, we're always overlooked for the best jobs and the best housing. It sounds a bit like you do believe in systemic injustice. Well, yeah, in a way. So does that mean you're woke? Oh my God, I've been infected too. Shame you didn't get the vaccine. Get me some bleach.
All right, gotcha. So nonetheless, I think that the woke mind virus in itself is kind of like that concept that
Kamala Harris and her aides are mulling how to deploy the Obamas in this general election after their powerful convention speeches.
Who's got Q? We got Q. You gotta hit the button. I don't think he can hear. Q, can you hear us?
Your mic is muted.
All right, cool. Can y'all hear now?
There we go.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
That was good, Johnny. But yes, nonetheless, the woke mind virus. Quickly, if I was to give as good faith of a definition as I could, I would say kind of the indoctrination from various media sources that's to influence a person's perspective into modern wokeism, typically equated into like the whole social justice warrior and or the LGBTQ community. I guess Elon Musk in himself, he said that he lost his son to the woke mind virus. His son became a trans woman, and he said that was due to the woke mind virus. This could be from Disney indoctrination. This could be from like various media sources, various liberal media, XYZ. What is your thoughts on the woke mind virus? Do y'all think that there's an intentionality to push some of the specific points in general, or is Elon Musk talking at his ass? We'll run around the horn really quickly. G, woke mind virus.
This is it's a thing, but wrong messenger. as it relates to Elon. It's like I agree with his point, but like I don't know what's up between him and his child. I think that like he comes off as just very like cold-blooded as it relates to his kids. So I'm not exactly sure what the tension is there, but is there something out there like pushing certain narratives and things of that nature? I definitely do agree. I can't know. I don't know if I would put that label on his child though.
Got it. Trey.
It's
woke
a shame
mind
that,
virus. Do you think that the woke mind virus is a real thing?
like G said, it's a weird messenger because there may be some points I agree with some things he says in general. I think it's weird that he doesn't get that same energy that Cam Newton and Nick Cannon does, even though they would never disown their rainbow son that of their many baby mothers. But look at Elon Musk, but they don't have all the social media raging over his parenting. So
well, he own it. He own all it, and he mute the tweets.
I mean, but even before he owned it, he been had multiple baby. he doesn't own Twitter. I mean, not Twitter. Excuse me. Instagram. So there are ways that he can get the smoke, but this just goes back to what we were talking about earlier and tying it all together. Where Diddy gets singled out, just like Nick Cannon and Cam Newton get singled out, and then Elon Musk is doing the same thing. So when he talks about not wanting the woke mind virus, I think he's coming from the perspective of someone that's been like so privileged to where like all his he's from apartheid South Africa. Shout out to Kamo, and he's also got all these organizations that are government funded, so he gets special treatment there. So it's just like he's comes from all this privilege. So of course he'll.
All right, so I don't know if you specifically answered the question. So, do you believe that the woke mind virus is a thing? I think that this could be characterized as like intentionally pushing habitual skepticism, social justice warrior, and LGBTQ agenda.
In his
bastardized do you think there's
form,
intentionality
yes.
behind that?
In its bastardized form, yes. I think when you get side of its original intention which was for to be aware of white supremacists by a foundational Black American man talking about dealing with life as a foundational Black American in American society. Once you get to anything beyond that definition, Elon Musk is 100% right. It's just stretching the definition to just push people to be warriors for issues that really are like not nowhere near as serious as the issue was originally intended to address.
Gotcha. A Black.
Yeah, I don't think it's no real thing. And I made a shirt a few years back. It said "Think while it's still free," and I feel like it's kind of like starting to almost make thinking not cool or being smart or intelligent, wrong or weird. Kind of like they used to kind of bully people back in the day, but they're coming from like a different angle with it. But it's just like all of this is free thought. Some people are a little radical than others, more extreme, obviously. But to like make people feel weird because they have a different thought pattern is a little, I don't know, it makes you raise your eyebrows. Like, now you're calling it a virus, like, and shit like that. Just the language they use is always kind of funny. But they want to make it seem like, oh, if you're a critical thinker, then you're the problem. Like, you should be going with the status quo.
Gotcha. Johnny, is the woke mind virus a thing? Is that like pushing habitual skepticism, social justice warrior mentality, and the LGBTQ agenda, like an intentional thing that's happening?
I mean, I definitely think it's somebody need a mute, but I definitely think it's something that's like sometimes too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. Like, you're supposed to drink water every day, but if you drink a whole gallon in 20 minutes, you could get water poisoning. And so I think if you take it too far and you don't question yourself and you don't have some kind of guidelines, then you'll be, arguing with me that the earth is flat and this projector screen's up there. And so sometimes, like, if it goes too far, it's no longer logical and you're just it could turn into like a type of paranoia. And I think some people do suffer from that, and I'm not saying it's a lot of them, but if you're not careful, that is definitely something that could happen.
Okay, so you think some people do got the woke mind virus, and it's a thing that's being pushed up.
Have you ever talked to a flat earther, like a serious one?
Yes, yeah, I did. Yeah.
I don't
know if that's not. I don't know. I wouldn't put it as specifically woke mind virus, but okay. Kofi, I imagine you probably reject the premise of the question, but I'd still love to get your opinion. Talk to me.
Elon Musk is an idiot. He throws his son under the bus like that. I pretty much agree with G. But on that, the only thing I would add to that is, I mean, he's throwing something on the bus is that he hates, that his son's a LBGT person, but Elon Musk was a person that used to be a Democrat, then he pretended to be a centrist, then he went full MAGA-tard and stuff like that. And the thing about that, since he has such a disdain, that's what I don't understand about these diehard Republicans, since he has such a disdain for the LGBT community to the point where he's kind of like, sound like he's disowning his son. The most popular transgender person in the United States is fucking Bruce Jenner, aka Caitlyn Jenner. There's Republicans that are also gay, So I find it very odd. And the woke mind virus, I don't buy into it because it sounds conspiratorial, saying Fauci created the COVID when it was in China, was in a Wuhan lab or whatever, and they didn't let us know in time and stuff like that. It's to the point where Trump is still racist ass is still calling it the China virus and stuff like that. So yeah, I pretty much agree with G, and that's my additional.
I think you also probably you was trying to open up like 4 or 5 different cans of worms of like conversations where you just went down there, but we're gonna stay to the point for a second. Again, after show, if we might, me and G got to talk. We might start a Patreon for that or something like that. We might save some of those for the after show. But nonetheless, talk to us. Woke mind virus, is this like an intentional thing where they're pushing habitual skepticism and social justice warrior mentality and the LGBTQ agenda on the people, explicitly the youth?
Yeah, I think it's a thing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's not, the term isn't used for what it originally was meant to be used for. And you just have anybody that, took the term and they use it the way they want to. And most of the time it don't even go with what they're talking about. It's just they want to have an agenda. And they want to have, it's a cool word to them, basically. And like anything else, they'll take a word and they'll take it and poison the whole world with it, make it sound like something else, and it gets oversaturated. The world get oversaturated with it, and next thing you know, it is what it is now. People are tired of hearing it now because you have the word being used by the wrong people about the wrong agendas. And you know what I'm saying, the LGBT, whatever that, all them alphabets, they, that's community or whatever. We didn't have transgenders when a few years ago. It was just transvestites. Now, you know what I'm saying, you can't even say that, and you can't say this.
Hey, don't get us canceled. Don't get us canceled. We don't want to get canceled. That's all I'm saying.
He's trying to prove a point.
I know. I'm just saying you.
I know. I got you.
He's trying to prove.
Oh no, I get it. I'm just saying YouTube be flagging shit. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's the world is oversaturated with things, and you can take a good word and it gets so much into your head, you tired of hearing it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, for sure. I got you.
But yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Camus, talk to us. Woke mind virus. One of your South African brethren.
Nah, he's not. I guess I'm struggling to wrap my head around this because in America, you tend to associate wokeness with mainstream media, which is something that is not the case here. Woke people.
Yeah, all right. So I guess let me see if I can kind of give you a bit of context. I would say we've acknowledged the root of where woke has started at. And I think that most of us gravitate towards like that initial definition. But we also acknowledge where it is evolved at inside like the American lexicon to now mean like this other like majority of things that includes the encompassing LGBTQ, the gender rights, as well as like the social justice movements and like inequality movements, XYZ. And so more or less when people use it as a pejorative, it's typically speaking about the gender equality. So you hear DEI, affirmative action, and then they're talking about the LGBTQ. So you hear like trans rights and queer and binary and gender fluidity. So that's more so the thing using Elon Musk and how the right-wing media is framing it as like a guides. Do you think the woke mind virus is a real thing? Or do you think that it's made up?
Hey man, I think calling it woke is just wrong, because it's, for me, when I look at it, I see a liberalism. I see a bunch of liberals expressing themselves. To the thought of even having Caucasians being called woke is it's weird to me. Woke people here are black people who are fighting for legit issues. So I guess I can't speak into that because it's just weird.
Gotcha. Understand it. All right. So nonetheless, it looked like we're pretty much at the wrap up point of the conversation. So what I do is give everybody a final word. You can use that as you feel. We got 10 minutes. Everybody about a minute and a half. And just kind of give you a wrap up from the conversation and where you want to land your plane at specifically. G.
Man, no room for sex trafficking in our communities. Just gotta say that we not pro sex trafficking. We not defending sex traffickers, and that's just that. So if you doing shit like that, you a foul ass nigga, and you got to deal with the consequences of being a foul, creepy ass nigga doing shit like sex trafficking. So I got to say that. Aside from that, they dropped the interest rate by 50 basis points today.
Oh, shit.
If you're curious out there, want to learn a little bit more about what these interest rates mean and how it all works, I got a great episode I recommend y'all checking out. It's called Interest Rates. It's on the page featuring Rob Boyd. Shout out to Howard, another Howard alum. But I would recommend y'all check that out. Y'all know what it is. Yep.
Is this dealing with housing as well? Where's housing interest rates right now?
So it's
quickly though, because I don't want to.
So the interest rate does impact mortgage rates, but unfortunately, a lot of the current mortgage rates we see today have baked in this anticipation of the rate cut dropping. So I don't know how much further mortgage rates will drop. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Trey.
Something, because I'm very interested in that, G. I will like that.
Word.
I'll say first off, there's no room for signaling out Black American for crimes that are done by all of the society. And if we're going to lock one of us up, then we need to lock everyone up or lock nobody up. But the last thing we're going to do is only lock. The last thing we're going to do is only lock up our moguls and then take that generational wealth and then redistribute it back to the dominant society, who's the one that's enforcing the laws disproportionately towards people who go against the system. So that's me just trying to be woke to the bigger picture and not me trying to say that anything about trafficking is justifiable, wrong. And then my condolences to anybody that's victim of any crimes like that. And the domestic violence is obviously wrong. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And then stay woke, everyone, because at the end of the day, I forgot the specific quote. If you're not aware of, white supremacy, everything it does, all its causes and how it affects life, then everything else will confuse you. So just stay woke and understand that. I encourage everyone to do that.
I got you. A Black, We're gonna try and keep everything like close to a minute now. We're getting close to that time. Yeah, talk to us. Wrap it up.
Yeah, man. Free Diddy, man. You know, you gotta get Diddy out of there. I don't think we realized how traumatized Diddy was when Biggie died, and he just started doing wild shit out here. You know, his life movie, if done right, would be crazy. Like, you know, it could be on some Godfather 2, 3.
I just want to see him hanging Wale over the balcony. But my bad. I don't want to take away from your time.
Mac and Drake, I want to see it all, man. All the stories come to life. But yeah, as far as that, the woke shit, like I said, we know it's been co-opted. We know when it's being used in a derogatory way. It used to be positive. It came from positivity. It is positive still. But we got to realize that when we popularize things, you know, it's usually gonna get taken, and we popularize it on Black Twitter. We make them comfortable using these our words and whatnot, and these other groups take it, run with it, and then the right, they take it and flip it, and it becomes their new nigga, their new boy, their new whatever to marginalize whatever group they're choosing at that time. So, I mean, definitely stay woke, man. Stay aware. Don't give up like they want you to do and stop thinking.
Got it. Johnny.
Yeah, I'll say stay woke. We're very lucky that we live in this time, because being woke is a lot easier because of the tools we had. We've talked about the previous generation a lot. It was so much harder for them to work when they had to go to the library and do the Dewey Decimal System. So woke for them was way more of a struggle. And I think we have the responsibility to separate the movement from the ideals and keep the ideals alive to push us forward. So yeah, stay woke to all my people.
Got it. Kofi.
Yeah, no room in this world for sex trafficking, especially in our community. Got some people probably defending because Tariq was defending Diddy and shit like that. I'm glad the conversation pivoted. I'm glad the conversation kind of pivoted, even though you guys the rest have pivoted to you know, woke being something positive. We can't let white people co-opt our words, especially words of encouragement, words that we make up, and that's pretty much it. Shout out to the Haitians, and fuck MAGA. And if you don't vote for Kamala, you ain't black. That's pretty much it.
Got it. Talk to us.
What's good? Yeah, you know, this woke, you know, you woke, okay. You woke. What are you woke to? You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanting to use it, but as everybody's saying, you know what I'm saying, it's using the wrong context. So I just feel like this right here, you know, we have a problem with people with ageism. You know who I'm talking to. And the thing is, it's very disrespectful. And the thing is, you want to sit there and say that, you know what I'm saying, you're doing the right thing. Or they said that you love black people, but you don't love older black people. You are the only generation, or black people are the only ones that will talk trash to their elders and won't respect them. Yet you want to say this or that or whatever. And like I was saying before, my generation, because I'm younger than your parents, my generation didn't smoke crack. We sold crack to your grandma. You understand what I'm saying? That's who was smoking crack. Your grandma.
All right. All right. So let's stay to the conversation, and
I'm saying we ruined the whole neighborhood, nigga. You better get our shit straight, nigga.
Look, what you giving us is after show commentary. Let land the plane. We got 2 minutes left. You got about 30 seconds left on has woke went too far. I think Unc might have. I think he killed him right now.
Unc said, "We them niggas who fucked up the neighborhood. Get it right.
Respect us, old niggas."
All right, so hey, how about we? I'm gonna throw to Kofi. Kofi, go ahead and round off the end of the conversation.
You mean Camo?
My bad. Not Kofi. This is like my 4th time doing it. My bad, fellas. Camu.
No, I'm saying black people have been producing pseudo billionaires, which is to say, Diddy is not the last one. People are already calling out people like Jay-Z, Oprah. They are on the line. They are next because the way to the pursuit to being a billionaire comes from a place of comes from a dangerous place. So Diddy is not the last one, and we're gonna keep losing these pseudo billionaires as time comes. So it's sad.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. Nonetheless, that this has been Unpacked, presented by the G-ish podcast and the To Be Fair show. What is woke? Have we become too woke? Yeah, it sounds like we kind of have somewhat of a consensus to the old guard, but not the new one. But nonetheless, leave comments, like, subscribe, let us know your thoughts.